very quickly growing community, and we expect that to continue for decades to come.
Their focus is on the students, working to make sure the transition is easy for them. Utah Valley University welcomes students back today for their first classes of the 2026 fall semester. The school is also welcoming a new president, John Anderson, as the university's 8th president. Your money at this moment. The markets are all up at this hour. The Dow is up 326 points right now. That's 0.6%. We're at 53,669. Coming up, we've got a few hot days in store. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 9:01. A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
I'm not one to say I told you so, but I switched to Pure Talk over a year ago, and ever since, I've been telling people there's no better wireless company out there. Well, a few months ago, a massive survey was conducted. 123,000 people were asked to rate their wireless carrier in 4 categories: coverage, support, data, and overall value. Well, the results are in. Guess which wireless company was the only wireless company to get 5 stars in every category? Yeah, Pure Talk. 5 stars, every category. To celebrate, Pure Talk is offering the first 3 months of any plan for just $15 a month, including their top-tier unlimited plan. No contract, no commitment, just a very inexpensive way to test drive the only American wireless company with 5 stars in every category. Just dial pound 250, say micro, and Pure Talk's U.S. customer service will take it from there. Again, pound 250, micro. And yes, I told you so.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
Does it feel like someone's stabbing a knife into your heel? Or does your lower back give you problems as the day goes on? The Good Feet store wants to help you, like we helped Ann.
Every time I stood up, pain just shot up my legs. Fortunately, I found the Good Feet store. I went to them after my doctor diagnosed me with plantar fasciitis. And now, thanks to the Good Feet store, I'm 100%.
Wouldn't it be nice to get back to doing what you love, like Patrick did?
I was in constant pain. Somehow my fiance and I found our way into the Good Feet store. Put my foot on the arch support system. I put them in my shoes, my back, my knees, my ankles. Thank you. Thank you, everybody at the Good Feet store. You gave me my active life back.
Learn more or schedule an appointment at goodfeet.com and come in and get your free personalized fitting at the Good Feet store. We have locations in Farmington, Riverton, and Sandy.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Stolen Voices of Dole Valley, a gripping new 9-part investigative podcast about a serial killer you've probably never heard of, Warren Forrest, a sadistic predator who prowled the Pacific Northwest in the early 70s. He hid behind the deeds of Ted Bundy, and he's only been convicted of 2 murders, but is suspected of many more. Since the release of Stolen Voices of Dole Valley, a witness identified in the podcast could lead investigators to the remains of Jamie Grissom.
He ran into the woods. He said he stumbled. As he fell down, he looks up and sees the body of a young woman.
And now the FBI is testing forensic evidence that had been collecting dust for decades. This cold case is now red hot. Binge the entire season of Stolen Voices of Dole Valley right now, wherever you get your podcasts. And make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on the latest breaking news.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by UCCU. You deserve to love where you bank. And here's Cormac Bone.
I-15 still seeing some delays. First in Utah County, southbound from 800 North down almost to University Parkway in Orem, where there is a crash. Looks like they are now in the right shoulder, but not before they built up some southbound delays. And then northbound I-15 slow from the point of the mountain up to Bangerter Highway, and then again from 7200 south, really all the way up to 13th south. And we do have a crash at the I-80-201 interchange on northbound I-15, also in the left shoulder there, but adding to the volumes. And southbound I-15 still pretty slow coming in from Davis County from the north interchange all the way down to 600 north. When things go wrong in Utah's backcountry, Search and Rescue answers the call. Trained volunteers who head into danger so you can come home safe. Support them at rescue.utah.gov. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
Well, the heat is back. We'll get up to 98 today, 101 tomorrow, 100 on Friday. This weekend, storms will return in cooler temperatures. There's a chance we'll see thunderstorms as soon as Friday afternoon. Right now, it's 79 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
Well, it was a little bit of a sight this morning as I was driving to KSL about 5 o'clock. I see police cars everywhere, and then finally as I get closer and closer, and I was coming in off of Highway 89, just getting into Weber Canyon. I guess you'd call it the Uinta area, Holly. And I see this fire. I mean, you could see it very clearly from the road. It was a bright fire. A Weber Canyon is what you'd call it, but it was surreal. It was really weird to see that at such a dark time of day. You don't expect to see that.
So it's been dubbed the Dugway Fire, which I'm not sure why, because it's not near the Dugway Proving Ground, but it has caused quite a bit of concern early this morning. And as you mentioned, parts of the highway were closed.
Yeah, I mean, if you're backed up at 5 a.m., it's because something bad's going on. But I'm sure it got worse after that. Parts of Highway 89 were actually closed, and some structures were threatened. But for what we know so far, no evacuations were put in place.
So KSL News Radio's Adam Small ran to the scene as soon as the fire started. He's been tracking the developments all morning and joins us now live. Adam, thanks for joining us. How are things looking right now?
Well, as you can see behind me here, Holly and Craig, I'm gonna try to stand still as best I can because the wind has been really bad here at the mouth of the canyon. I don't want to cut in and out too bad, but as you can see behind me here, the hillside is completely black. You can see the white smoke coming off of the side of the hill here. That's really been the scene here this morning. A good chunk of this hillside, it's on the northeast side of the US 89 and I-84 interchange, and about 15 to 20 acres of it has been completely burned by this fire, and it has just been picked up more and more as these winds, as you can hear here in the background. These canyon winds have been no joke this morning, and really just on a bad day for a fire to start, and just a ton of smoke coming off of this fire so far this morning.
Adam, when I drove by about 4 hours ago, I was on 89, just about to hit 84, Highway 84, and I could see the flames. They were really spectacular at that time, pretty big. Is there still a big fire, or is it mostly put out, or can you tell from where you are?
From where I'm at, it's hard to tell. I can tell you there's a ton of smoke. I think I think I could say there's a little less flames than when I was first here. When we got here and it was still dark out, I mean, it looked like a big orange ball.
Yeah.
Like when we first were looking at it this morning. But now it's more like kind of starting to hear comparisons from some here of like a campfire where like when you put the campfire out, it smokes a lot more than when the fire was actually burning. That kind of seems like what it is right now. But the fire's definitely still active. As of last update, 0% contained, but it's really been the smoke that's been the more visible thing, though there are still flames.
Adam, do you know when this fire started?
From what I was told about 3:30 this morning, though the cause is still under investigation. I am not, now I didn't check the forecast super well or pay attention overnight because obviously I was sleeping, but at about that time, I don't remember there being any thunderstorms or anything like that in the area. So, I mean, take that with a grain of salt, but at this point, I can't tell you what caused it, but I'm kind of doubting that it was weather related, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I don't recall there being any thunderstorms that time of day either, and I don't know why people would be hiking up there at 3 o'clock in the morning, but you don't know what's going on. It was in an area when I saw it, Adam, that didn't seem to be threatening any structures or homes. Has that changed, or have they had any evacuations that you know of?
So no evacuations, but at least at one point the fire was threatening some homes. I believe it's called a Bybee Road or Bybee Drive. It's again right up on the hillside northeast of I-84 and US 89 interchange. There were some homes up there shortly after the fire started early this morning that were threatened, according to firefighters I spoke with here this morning. But because of the way the canyon winds are blowing, so the canyon is that way, and winds have been blowing out, forcing the fire and the smoke out to the west here. So because of that, the wind has actually kind of been an ally for firefighters, at least in that one regard, that it has pushed the fire and the smoke away from homes, Though at this point, they're still telling people, well, hey, we haven't called any evacuations yet. No homes at the moment are threatened. Be ready to go in case that changes, depending on, I mean, as temperatures warm up, the sun comes out, fire behavior can change pretty quickly. So, but at this point, thankfully, no evacuations, no homes threatened at the moment, and obviously no damage, no injuries, anything like that.
All right. Thanks, Adam. That was Adam Small, KSL News Radio reporter. So, look, I've seen fires at night also, and those flames really can be spectacular. So
they had police,
also not good.
Yeah, the police were at virtually every intersection there. You could see that.
Yeah.
So that you had the police lights on and the fire. It was surreal. I mean, I was driving through there and I thought, because, at that time of day is so quiet and the traffic, there's virtually none. But it was backed up there. I think you'd call that area Uinta, and there's actually a U on the mountain not too far from there for that particular town. And it was just what I would call east foothills of Uinta. Again, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. In Weber Canyon. Thankfully, so far, it hasn't threatened homes, or at least hasn't caused any evacuation of homes. I was surprised when he said 0% contained because it seemed small enough, and they were right on top of it. I mean, firefighters must have been, minutes away. That they seemed to have it at least contained to the point where they were going to be able to start putting it out.
So it's interesting because I'm looking at Utah Fire Info, which is where I get the updates every day.
Yeah.
They already have included the Dugway fire in their count. They're saying that, they're still 0% contained, as he just said. So there's been 880 fires burning 538,000 acres so far this year. And yesterday, lawmakers, when they were doing their interim appropriations meetings, they got an update on wildfire costs. Do you know how much the state has spent so far?
It has to be tens of millions of dollars.
Hundreds. It's $217 million for the 10 largest fires in Utah this fire season. So one of the things that I didn't realize is that FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, they reimburse, but only up to 75%. So the state is still going to be on the hook for tens of millions.
Yeah, well, 75% of 217 is over $150 million. I mean, that's
it's great.
I was thinking more about the communities and the counties, the fact that the state and the feds are taking part of this. I mean, I'm thinking about the town and county of Beaver. They suffered a lot. And then, of course, they had the floods coming after that. So the fact that there's any help with, municipalities like that suffer not only the fire, but then the aftermath of the floods and then the homes that were destroyed, it makes you feel like maybe there is some hope for some of these people and some of these communities that they're not going to bear the burden of this.
Well, those estimates don't even include the destroyed properties.
Oh,
it doesn't include that. It really just literally includes the firefighting efforts.
Right. Well, that makes sense. Yeah.
So
that's what they spent.
Yeah, that's right. So they also don't include post-fire rehabilitation costs. Those aren't included in the estimates either. And of course, the state forester, she's saying it's still fluid right now because the fires are still going.
I thought it was just a house fire. Well, not just, but I mean, it just seemed like a weird time of day for there to be a brush fire. But that's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
And in an area where I should have known there weren't really homes up there, except a little ways away. I'm wondering, we were thinking a week or two ago, Holly, that we could be approaching the all-time record in terms of acreage burnt.
Yeah.
And then we seem to have a little bit of a lull with some of the monsoonal moisture or whatever. But this weekend is supposed to hit 100 degrees again, maybe tomorrow. I don't know.
Yeah.
And the winds, like Adam was saying, we still have fire. I mean, people still need to be absolutely careful about fires for another, forever.
Well,
really.
probably till November
right,
at least.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah. Well, coming up next on Inside Sources, data centers are the big talker on Utah's Capitol Hill today. At least I think they are. Lawmakers are getting together for interim meetings. The legislature set to talk about water rights, effects on wildlife, tax issues. 3 different committees will be talking about data centers, and we're going to preview it all next.
Hi, this is Doug Wright, and I've been a fan of Hale Center Theater from the very beginning. But there is something about this season that is just off the charts. Maybe it's due to the 3 stages now, which accommodate an amazing variety. Take, for example, showing right now on the Beehive stage, Thornton Wilder's Pulitzer Prize-winning novel and Tony Award-winning play is an absolute must-see. It's Our Town. This is a touching story focusing on 2 families in a small town, the sorrows, the joys, the reflections of lives well lived. And then, coming up, we've got Joseph and the amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. The music, the staging, the pure fun of it makes Joseph an all-time favorite. And in mid-August, it's Moriarty. This is the time for you to lock down your tickets for all of the wonderful productions at Hale Center Theater. And all you have to do is go to hct.org.
Hey Utah, Jimmer Fredette here. You remember Jimmermania? When the building got loud, the tempo sped up, and you could feel something special was about to happen? That's the same kind of energy you get behind the wheel at BMW of Pleasant Grove. Quick acceleration, sharp handling, total control. Whether you're hitting I-15 for work, making the school run, or heading out for the weekend. Because great driving is like great basketball. Quick decisions, smooth moves, and confidence when it matters. And if you know my game, you know that I love the three-pointer. Catch it, rise up, let it fly. In a BMW, it's the same feeling. Smooth, precise, and dialed in. Like you're pulling from deep, and you know it's money the second it leaves your hand. The crew at BMW of Pleasant Grove makes the whole process easy too. No pressure, no runaround. Just a premium experience from shopping to financing to service that has your back for miles. So if you're ready to upgrade your drive and bring that game day energy to every day, visit BMW of Pleasant Grove or online at bmwofpg.com. BMW of Pleasant Grove. Drive elevated.
There's something special about jewelry with a story. September 11th and 12th, join Duke's Jewelers for the Estate Jewelry Showcase. 2 days featuring an incredible selection of previously loved, one-of-a-kind jewelry. Discover vintage and estate rings, diamonds, gemstones, unique designs and pieces you simply won't find anywhere else. And because estate jewelry has already lived a life before it finds you, it can also be an incredible way to find exceptional jewelry at a great value. Whether you love the charm of vintage jewelry, you're searching for something completely unique, or just love the thrill of finding the perfect piece, this is an event you won't want to miss. The Duke's Jewelers Estate Jewelry Showcase, September 11th and 12th at Duke's Jewelers in Springville. Come find a piece with a past and make it part of your story. Duke's Jewelers, 4 generations, nearly 8 decades, and jewelry worth remembering.
Here's the deal. The government is over $38 trillion in debt, which means the IRS isn't slowing down. And the tax code is complex and unforgiving. So it's not surprising if you're one of the millions of Americans that owe back taxes to the IRS. Unfortunately, they're the world's most powerful collection agency, with the ability to garnish your wages, seize your bank accounts, and even take your home or business. But don't be stressed or worried any longer. We're Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm. We have resolved over $3 billion in tax debt for our clients. Our award-winning professionals deal with the IRS every single day, protecting our clients and preparing them for the best possible resolution. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, give Optima a call today.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
911, coming back to what happened.
My son and his wife and their 2 children haven't responded.
Susan Powell disappeared on a snowy morning in 2009.
I said, Josh, where are you? You need to get home.
And her husband will never be held accountable.
Your wife is missing, Josh.
Yeah, but
and you want to think about it for a couple of days?
I'd had this overwhelming feeling that he had done something to her already.
I'm Dave Cawley, host of the podcast Cold.
Then he starts making phone calls to Susan's phone.
Hello, Susan. We are on our way back.
It's the deepest of deep dives into this tragic tale of abuse.
Where was Josh when Susan disappeared?
I don't know. Of one mother's desperate attempt to escape.
This is me, covering all my bases.
Help prevent it from happening again.
Our focus has and continues to be finding Susan.
Listen and learn by following Cold wherever you get your podcasts.
The new Inside Sources. Eye on the Hill 2026. Special coverage on Inside Sources.
I've said it before, I'll say it again. State lawmakers have their hands full when it comes to data centers. So there is ongoing outrage from community after community, including a heated meeting last night in Spanish Fork. This issue is not going away.
Yeah, that was a full house meeting. It sounds like Spanish Fork people were concerned about a lot going on. And there's some work going on today at Utah's Capitol Hill. Lawmakers are making these data centers a priority, and they're actually having several interim committee meetings today. The state legislature is taking a closer look at the impacts of potential data centers in our state, which is good. I think they've got 3 just on this issue alone.
Three different meetings. We'll be talking about it. Yeah. Before we get to that, though, up on the Hill, I want to talk a little bit about what happened late last night down in Utah County. Late into the night, I guess. Hundreds of concerned residents in Spanish Fork turned out, largely voicing frustration and anger against a proposal that could pave the way for a new data center at the mouth of Spanish Fork Canyon.
Yeah, it's apparently a former warehouse site that's being looked at right now, and the Spanish Fork City Council met to weigh in on proposed regulations about that. Citizens were concerned about environmental impacts, air quality, transparency, and really saying, wait a minute, let's take a look at this before we get to where what happened in Box Elder County occurs.
Right. KSL's Shelby Lofton was at the meeting late into the night.
Tonight's hearing was never to decide if this particular data center were to come to Spanish Fork. Rather, it was to decide on the rules and regulations if a data center were ever to come to this city. Now, we're talking about this property off of Highway 6. This data center would replace the old Finger Hut warehouse at the mouth of Spanish Fork Canyon. The industrial area backs up to the windmills in Spanish Fork and a large development of new homes there. Provo-based company Volition wants to put a center right there, and CEO Jeff Chavez insists their facilities are different in design, structure, and approval process.
The whole reason why we engaged as a company was to address the hotly contested concerns about data centers.
Tonight, Volition went through major concerns around data centers and talked about how theirs operates. Chavez says Volition centers bring their own power. He said they would never connect to or impact the power grid. They use natural gas to power the fuel cell. And when it comes to noise, he said their cooling system is the loudest piece of equipment they have, and it's indoors. He also said they have a closed loop water system that's filled once and recirculates. And he promised low buildings that would not impact the skyline. Many people who came forward tonight argued while Volition took the time to answer their questions, they still don't have the facts and figures and evidence to back it up.
I asked for data, essentially, on the claims that are being made here. I've yet to be provided that data.
From people who I talked to and the turnout tonight, I would say that the majority of us do not want the data center here. And after the presentation tonight, I just don't think, when they say close to no emission to the air quality, I just want none.
Now, other residents urged City Council to have additional independent studies done on environmental, noise, and heat impacts of data centers. The purpose of tonight's meeting was to approve or deny a text amendment of a city ordinance here that clarifies guardrails for data centers. Some were concerned there's not enough protection in that proposal for the city and the people who pay taxes here.
Well, this is just the latest in a series of fights against data centers in the state. We started in Box Elder County, Tooele County, it seems like Millard County. Residents right and left have turned out in droves to voice their concerns about these seemingly massive facilities. They're bigger and bigger than the old strip mall ones that we've talked about. And people are concerned about power grid, air quality, water rights, and just their effect on the community and the wildlife.
Yeah, it certainly is a big discussion point that has come to the fore. And I think what you're seeing on Utah's Capitol Hill today is a recognition from lawmakers that people in the state of Utah have a lot of questions and they better know what's happening with data centers.
So what do you know about the interim committees and why would they have 3?
So on interim days, which is, well, now they've turned into interim weeks, but the legislature meets 6 times during the in-between of one legislative session and the next one. And so they're meeting, they didn't meet in July, so they haven't met since June. And of course, things have really continued to balloon. So they have multiple different meetings in the morning and in the afternoon. But they've got 3 specific committees that are looking at these data centers today. So they've got economic development and workforce services. That committee is going to hear about the existing permitting process and the best practices, what they have right now that they think. They're also going to talk about power demands and trade-offs between water and energy, and then the economic impact of data centers for the state. One of the things I think is important to note, and this will be presented today. In fact, it's probably ongoing right now, but it'll be presented to the interim committee, is there's no one person or entity or agency that approves data centers. There's a multi-step process to be able to approve these.
And one of these, so you're talking about the Economic Development and Workforce Services Interim Committee.
Yep.
Others that are meeting?
Yeah, sure. So Revenue and Taxation Committee, they're meeting. And if you remember, we had a conversation because Kim C. Gardner Policy Institute did a study on the impact, and it showed that initially these data centers could lower property taxes, but then there was going to be a boomerang, a rebound effect. Well, they're presenting that information to the legislature also during the Revenue and Taxation Interim Committee meeting.
So let me ask you this. I know there's a third one, and this is a dumb question. Are there legislators who are on numerous committees? And if so, are these scheduled at different times?
Yes, everybody is on different committees.
I think there has to be.
Everybody's on multiple committees, and so everybody will have at least one committee meeting in the morning and one in the afternoon. That's how those work.
Okay. And then the last one?
So there's nobody that's going to be on all 3 committees, right? So I think one of the things, too, is with these interim committees, there's no legislation that's going to be decided on today. They may talk about potential legislation, but what they're doing is really information gathering so that legislators feel like they have a more complete picture of all of the different angles.
And then from there,
so as we get closer and closer,
and propose legislation,
or maybe they're just going to go to the drafting attorneys and have the drafting attorneys come up with something. But we do know that Representative Jason Thompson has talked about proposing, I would say, stronger guardrails on MIDA. So the Military Installation Development Authority. So to really make sure that it stays within the bounds of military installations. He wants to do that. So
literally the physical bounds in some respects.
Literally, like within 5 miles,
right,
I think,
yeah.
right, of a military installation.
Right.
He feels like, at least what I can read is that he feels like it's way too broad right now. The Box Elder County, they said it's national security, that we need to put it up there, but there don't seem to be, there's not a military installation close by, and there's nothing specific besides saying, well, it's a national security issue.
Right. The Natural Resources, Agricultural, and Environmental Interim Committee, that's also meeting to decide, like, issues involving water rights.
Well, they're going to hear about it, and we're going to talk about it in the next segment some more as well. But they're going to hear about environmental concerns, and that is water, power grid. It's about air quality. They'll be talking about all of those, and so you can see there's a little bit of overlap between these committees anyway, because taxes has to do with economic impact, but they're also talking about that in economic development, right? So they're going to have several opportunities today. And then when you have the in-between time, when you've got like lunchtime and the kind of in the hallway meetings, you can bet that legislators are going to be chatting about this today.
Do legislators, this is a little bit off topic, do they ask for certain committees that they want to serve on?
Yes, and you're assigned.
Not that
you're assigned by the Speaker of the House.
Right.
So you can ask, and you can say, I would like to serve in this committee. Business and Labor, super popular committee. You can ask, but you will serve wherever the Speaker of the House assigns you. Right. Yeah.
Well, let's take a quick break, but when we return, let's keep the conversation going on how the state's debating the future of data centers and their effects today. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
9:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Amanda Dixon. KSL's top story this hour. Kids in the Davis School District will be boarding their buses for the new school year tomorrow morning, and their bus drivers will be equipped with some new technology. Drivers in the district will be using Tyler Drive tablets, which operate like an advanced GPS that also provides them with student information. Transportation Director Jake Heydrich said those tablets were a necessary addition.
We move 21,000 kids every single day. That's basically like emptying the city of Clinton and filling up the Delta Center and then taking them back home. We do that every day, and that's just routes. That's not field trips, that's not games, That's just routes.
Heydrich says the tablets will make drivers' jobs easier and safer. All of their buses will be equipped with them by January. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. The trial against Meta continues today. It began with opening statements where Meta is accused of luring teens and children onto its social media platforms. More from ABC's Kana Whitworth.
In a statement, Meta reiterates its record in protecting teens before it became a legal issue and calls the AG's claims limited, adding the states have no proof they were misled. CEO and founder of Meta, Mark Zuckerberg, does plan to testify about introducing time management tools and age verification, which the company acknowledges is an industry-wide challenge.
Meta is being sued by multiple state attorneys general who say the platforms have a negative effect on teens and children's mental health. Your money at this moment. The markets are all headed up right now. The Dow is up 203. That's about 0.4%. We're at 53,554. We've got a few hot days in store this week. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 9:31.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
This is Colin Keary from the New Millennium Group. Have you ever had a question for your financial advisor only to find out that the next available appointment is months away? At New Millennium Group, we believe that financial advice should never be limited to once-a-year review meetings. Life happens every single day. Markets change, retirement questions come up, family situations evolve, and when they do, you deserve answers. That's why we pride ourselves at the New Millennium Group on being accessible when our clients need us most. Whether you're wondering about your investments or a major life decision, our team is here to help provide guidance. We're not interested in being the firm you hear from once a year. We want to be your trusted resource throughout your entire retirement journey. If you're looking for a financial team that values relationships, communication, and responsiveness, we'd love to meet you. Give us a call today at 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370, or visit us at utahsfinancialplanner.com.
Progressive presents a guided meditation.
Hear the birds sing, a chipmunk nibbling on an acorn. Smell the pine needles gently falling into your living room as the breeze blows through the gaping hole in your roof. Gaze up at that broken tree branch and relax, because you bundle your home and auto with Progressive and have the peace of mind of 24/7 protection. So relaxing.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
John's day is off to a slow start. So he heads to AutoZone, where he can get a battery for under $100. Lonnie, a local AutoZoner, tests his battery for free. Looks like he just needs a charge, and Lonnie does that for free too. In no time at all, John is back on the road, ready to finish the day strong. Free battery testing and charging at every store. No hassles, just help.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 877 Cars for Kids to speak to a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Go to carsforkids.org now, or call 877 Cars for Kids to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by UCCU. Learn how to save more this summer at uccu.com. And here's Cormac Bone.
Still got some slowdowns on I-15 in Salt Lake County. First, just a little slow approaching Bangerter Highway after Point of the Mountain. And then you have the regular slowdowns from the South Interchange all the way up to 13th South. Those lasting a little longer due to a crash that has now cleared off the road. But it is especially dense as you pass the I-80-201 interchange. I-15 in Weber, Utah, and Davis counties has cleared up, but it is still a little congested both directions of Highway 89 near the mouth of Weber Canyon, where that fire is still burning. We can still see the smoke in the live shot, so as you're going through that area, do be careful as crews continue to work on the fire. Is the IRS harassing you? Utah tax attorney Jordan Wilcox gets the IRS off your back to end your IRS nightmare. Visit endtaxworry.com. That's endtaxworry.com. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
Guess we're not done with 100-degree days. We'll be at 98 today, 101 tomorrow, 100 on Friday before cooler temperatures and some rain this weekend. In fact, those storms might return as soon as Friday. Right now, it's 81 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio. Eye on the Hill 2026. Special coverage on KSL News Radio.
Well, let's continue our discussion on data centers and how state leaders hope to address this ongoing issue. That's really brought a lot of Utahns together in a near unified, seemingly opposition to a lot of these proposed facilities, Holly.
So up on Utah's Capitol Hill today, the legislature, the interim meetings at least, are meeting. The interim committees are discussing the impacts of these data centers, and all three of these committee meetings are meeting this morning. Anyway, they're finding out more information about their impacts, about the permitting process, about tax implications, all of those things.
Okay, so I'm a geek and I have a lot of questions, but
Great.
You used the word bicameral, which I had to look up. So you said these are bipartisan and bicameral committee meetings, meaning?
They're both houses. So bipartisan means you have members of both parties, and we also have the Forward Party, Emily Buss, Senator Buss. So you have to have on these interim committees, you have to have members of both parties, and you have to have members of both houses. So bicameral means both houses, so House and Senate.
Oh, well, that makes sense. You get more done. So will they have speakers? Will they have people presenting?
Yeah, they do. So interim meetings are really educational, usually. And as we get closer, by the time we hit October and November interim meetings, you're going to start to see proposed legislation that will be talked about in the committee. Right now, they're mostly in the learn phase, find out, there's lots of agencies in the state that are required by statute to report to the legislature, and it usually happens during the interim committees. But today, specifically, they're really looking at data centers. Like we were mentioning, there's 3 different committees, and we didn't get a lot into the Natural Resources, Agriculture, and Environment interim committee on their data. And let me just do this shout out to the state website. LE for legislative .utah, UTAH.gov, G-O-V. I think it's one of the best legislative best legislative websites in the nation. It's easy to find. Everything is streamed. In fact, there's documents that people, and even slideshows that people have sent in and said, okay, this is what I'm talking about.
Streamed meaning somebody could go on right now and see what's happening in these.
Absolutely.
So they're not
they're
closed door.
Streamed and recorded. These are all open and public meetings. And so even if you wanted to listen on the way home today, you could listen to these meetings.
Is it unusual that you would have an interim session with 3 committee meetings dealing with the same subject? I mean, this makes me think that data centers are a big deal right now. That the legislature is taking it very seriously.
That's the way I read that as well. So what they're talking about in natural resources, and we kind of mentioned it before the break, but they're talking about air quality. So they've got Bryce Bird, who's the director of the Division of Air Quality. Then you have the director for the Division of Water Quality. Then you have the state engineer and director for the Division of Water Rights. And then you have the deputy director for the Division of Wildlife Resources, and he's talking about the impact on wildlife. And then you have Hannah Fries, who is the new Great Salt Lake Commissioner. She's going to be speaking as well. And that's all just in one committee.
And so the committee will just give them all 5 minutes or 10 minutes and say,
ask
questions and go on and on.
They're allocated on their agenda. They're allocated an hour and 10 minutes.
Oh, wow.
They usually are pretty good to keep it on time because the next topic after that is talking about wildfires in the state, and then they have an audit report. So they start late. Typically, I would say you call it legislator standard time often, but once they get started, they have to have a quorum to be able to do any business, and the only business a lot of times they do is just approve the meeting minutes from the last meeting, but data centers, I think, as you pointed out, they're really important to people in the state of Utah, and because they're important to people in the state of Utah, they have become important to legislators.
Yeah, I mean, that one's an interesting one that we didn't get a chance to talk about natural resources, agriculture, environment, and you talked about wildlife. You don't think about that with data centers. I mean, maybe we should. The environmental impacts, obviously air, water, but you also deal with agriculture, environment, things like that that are.
I'm just looking at some of the slideshow that the Division of Wildlife Resources has put together. So first of all, they have to say DWR doesn't do anything to regulate development. They talk with developers, regulatory agencies, they can provide recommendations, but they don't have any regulatory authority over whether somebody builds or doesn't build. But they say that these impacts have on mortality, animals die, loss of habitat, and fragmentation and degradation of surrounding habitats. So basically what that means is as you increase traffic flow, for example, you're going to have animals who get hit by vehicles and die.
Sure.
You're going to take up some of their habitat because of where you're building. And then because of the impacts around it, you may have, maybe they've got a habitat where they're used to grazing, but now it's broken up. And so the animals are going to have to go elsewhere.
Their migration paths are changed,
right.
and things can affect them that way.
Yeah.
Interesting. So that one that committee sort of deals with impacts. The other two seem more financial related. Economic development on one hand, revenue taxation. I mean, obviously you've got to look at the financial impact of these and the benefit that they may serve for a community in terms of tax base and things like that.
One of the things that I think is interesting in the Economic Development Committee is they're talking also about water. They're talking about environmental quality. So they have the commissioner from the Department of Environmental Quality. They have the senior vice president of economic growth in the governor's office of economic development. They also have a professor, and they have somebody from the Office of Energy Development. But one of the things that's interesting from that one is that is the committee where they're laying out, here are all the different organizations that are involved in approving data centers. The Governor's Office of Economic Opportunity, they're not directly involved and there's no requirement, but they could provide resources. MIDA, Public Service Commission, Division of Air Quality, Division of Water Rights, all of those people. And so they're getting a rundown on where these agencies and the approval process is. Are they involved in the planning process? Are they involved in regulatory review? Are they involved in implementation? One of the things we heard on the Box Elder County one was people talking about even if the project had no opposition and was moving forward, there would be a minimum of a year just to start pulling together some of the environmental impact information.
You know, I'm educated and impressed with our legislature, which are volunteers.
Yeah,
pretty
much.
You don't realize how much goes into legislate. I hadn't appreciated these interim.
Yeah.
I just assumed their constituents say, hey, write a bill. I mean, I know that's naive and dumb.
Sometimes they do say that.
But these interim committees, it's very impressive. Yeah. And to think that they sat down, I'm no fan of data centers. I know that that's maybe more of a liberal perspective than conservative, but our legislature is saying, okay, let's take a hard look at it and make sure we're doing it right. Good for them. Good for them.
Well, and I think it's like with many topics. So even like AI, artificial intelligence, which of course is related to data centers, you start to see, okay, look, we didn't really know what that looked like. So we started with a regulatory sandbox, which means we're going to let people try some things here. And then you start to see, okay, this is what we need. So what we've started to see is, especially when you're talking about these hyperscale data centers, the really large ones, then you really need to start talking about what those guardrails look like, right? And whether this is even feasible if you think the technology is going to be advancing so rapidly that they're out of date before the things are even constructed.
Right, we've talked about that, yeah.
I know. It's
good
so
for our
weird.
legislature.
All right. Coming up next on Inside Sources, I'm super excited about this story, and it's something fun to finish off this hour.
I'm packing you an extra pair of shoes and your angry eyes, just in case. And if you get hungry, here's some cheese puffs and a key. I don't know what it's for, but you never need a golf ball.
So it's Mrs. Potato Head from Toy Story.
Oh, that's what that is. I'm
Packing
trying
the
to think
angry
what that
eyes.
is.
Today's National Potato Day. We want to know, how do you like to eat your spuds? You can text us 57500. We'll hop back like a hot potato in just a few minutes.
Hey, what if I told you that 4 weeks from now, everything in your life can feel different? That is your energy, your weight, the way your clothes fit. That is what the SOTA Dynamic Diet is built to do. And right now, SOTA has a special end-of-summer sale. Call 866-800-SOTA, S-O-T-A, and mention KSL News Radio. SOTA is not a quick fix. It has proven process that teaches you how to eat for life, and it taught me the same thing. You work one-on-one with a degreed nutritionist who guides you through every step of the way. You learn what works for your body so that the weight stays off long after the program ends. It has no injections, no pills, no ongoing prescription costs. You walk away healthier, more confident, and free from chasing the next expensive fix. SOTA has thousands of success stories, nearly 9,000 Google reviews, real results that you can see. I hooked up with SOTA in April of this year. 4.5 months later, I've kept the weight off. I lost almost 30 pounds in 7 weeks, and I've been able to keep it off. It's worked out well for me, and it'll work out well for you. SOTA Dynamic Diet is built to do exactly what it did for me. SOTA is, say it with me, state of the art.
There's nothing better than getting outside with the people you love. And in Utah, we have endless ways to stay active and healthy outdoors. But staying healthy also means staying safe. Intermountain Health recommends that you wear the right gear, stay hydrated, protect your skin, and plan ahead before you go. Know your limits and choose activities that keep it safe and fun for everyone. Because when you make health and safety a part of every adventure, you're taking care of what matters most: your life, your health.
Do you know how to tell if a clogged drain is something to worry about or not? What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and I understand it's annoying and inconvenient, but sometimes a clogged drain can be a sign there's a more serious issue with your sewer main line. If the drains in the lowest level of your home aren't draining, or you flush a toilet and it comes up somewhere else like a shower or a floor drain, I'm urging you to look at this as more than just an annoyance. The last thing I want you to experience is a sewer backup. If you're a homeowner experiencing any of these issues, the first step would be to snake the line to see if it's just a blockage, which one of our drain techs can do for only $29. Yep, you heard that right. Any Hour Services will snake any drain line with normal access for only $29. Sinks, showers, tubs, toilets, floor drains, laundry drains, even that sewer main line that connects to the city. We'll snake any line for just $29. For help with your drain issues, call Any Hour Services at 801-443-7700. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Your business isn't just a balance sheet. It's the late nights, the bold bets, the people counting on you to get it right. At UMB Bank, they've stood beside businesses like yours since 1913, not just as a bank, but as a team who understands what's at stake. Because real banking isn't just transactions, it's trust. It's a relationship built to last. Visit UMB.com. UMB.com. Bank deposit products provided by UMB Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Life can get hectic. That's why Progressive provides claim support 24/7, 365 days a year, all the time. But not like in a desperate way. We're not just waiting online for you to talk to us or waiting by the phone. I mean, we are waiting by the phone, but not like staring at it. Well, now I am. I'm staring at it. The point is, Progressive Claim Support is here for you 24/7 in a totally chill, normal way. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, not available in all states or situations.
You're in charge of ordering boxes. Small boxes, big boxes, really big boxes. You're in charge of tape, labels, mailers, bubble wrap, extra bubble wrap. Just for fun. You're in charge of warehouse cleaning and safety supplies. Good thing there's Uline. Thousands of quality products for your business and warehouse needs, always in stock, ready to ship same day, and backed by Uline's legendary 24/7 customer service. Uline makes it easy because you already do enough. Uline. We warehouse for you.
Inside Sources.
Potatoes. Boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew. Lovely big golden chips with a nice piece of fried fish.
That is Samwise Gamgee from Lord of the Rings, because he is telling Gollum, he's saying, what are taters? That's what Gollum says. He said, potatoes, boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew. It is National Potato Day, and I'm so excited.
Okay, so let's make this interactive. Text us at 57500 and tell us your favorite way to eat potatoes. I have to start by saying you have some particularly painful dad potato jokes.
But they're so funny.
I know.
Okay. What do you call a lethargic baby kangaroo?
No idea.
A pouch potato.
See? Did I disappoint with my painful dad joke?
No. Now, what do you call a potato who works as an EMT?
I have no idea.
A resuscitator.
There you go.
What do you call a fake potato?
No.
An imitator. Wait, I have more.
Stop the
I have
madness.
more.
Stop,
I have more.
please.
What do you call a potato at a sports game? A spectator. and then this one. What's the sweet potato's favorite horror movie?
I have no idea.
Silence of the Yams.
Okay.
So
I need my drum. I used to play the drums. I could do that little chicka boom.
I know,
after
right?
Some of these
you
bad jokes.
You totally
yeah.
should. After these jokes, look, they're funny. So at my house, we have. It's interesting because we have different kids who have different favorite ways to eat potatoes. So I have a daughter who loves mashed potatoes, and we just we do them from scratch. Boil the potatoes. Boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew. So we boil the potatoes, we mash them. But I whip them in my kitchen mixer. And when she was getting her wisdom teeth out, and you know how they give you those medications that kind of make you loopy?
A little goofy,
and it takes away your filter.
Right.
She said, I love mashed potatoes, but I don't like the way Dad makes them. Don't tell him, I don't want to hurt his feelings, but don't let Dad make the potatoes anymore. And he never has.
Moments
since that.
of lucidity, right, during your...
So she loves mashed. We have some kids who really love funeral potatoes. We eat mashed potatoes and funeral potatoes both at Thanksgiving.
There are very few ways
carb heavy.
I don't like potatoes. I really love them in virtually every way, but my favorite are breakfast potatoes. I love hash browns. I really do. And it's hard to make them wrong, even those that are sort of fresh or some that are pre-made. I just like hash brown potatoes in the morning.
So we have okay, so Amanda says baked with obscene amounts of butter and sour cream. Yes, actually.
Absolutely, and chives.
French fries. Dennis says fried, mashed, and French fries. I guess you can do fried different ways. Have you ever had fried mashed potatoes? Those are good. Or mashed potato pancakes, I guess we've called them that way sometimes too.
No.
Really good.
Sounds good.
Cheryl says chips. Jeff says distilled because you can get alcohol out of potatoes. How do I know that? That's weird and random. Okay. And funeral potatoes. Look, we also have texters. Carla says, how to eat potatoes? Question mark. It doesn't even matter. Potatoes are the best, however they're cooked. Mashed is probably my favorite, though.
Remember that movie, The Martian? How he survived? I mean,
yeah.
He survived
He grew
on potatoes. Yeah, I mean,
love that movie,
kept him alive,
Yeah,
really.
it did.
And
It
I
did.
thought, what a universal food that.
Yeah.
Somebody thought that out really well.
Yeah. Well, we have one texter that says they love them sliced and fried in butter with onions.
Mm-hmm.
Rick says he likes his potatoes baked first. Hash browns are nice. And then his mom had the great au gratin potato recipe. Yeah, it's great. baked, mashed, French fried, roasted, boiled, raw. There is not a bad way. Each has its place with what else is on the plate.
I kind of got to go with that, yeah.
So O'Brien
my wife
potatoes.
is not a potato fan. Rebecca does not necessarily make potatoes, but
because
I don't know. She's not a big
Interesting.
She doesn't think of them as a vegetable.
Well, they're pretty starchy.
She thinks of them as a starch, right?
Yeah, they are a starch. Potato salad? Yeah. Grilled potato steaks, says one texter. Potato salad, Dutch oven potatoes with bacon, onion burned on the bottom and on the top with cheese. Twice baked spud nuts. Have you ever had those?
Those donuts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Made with mashed potato stuff.
I had no idea. But they were called spud nuts for a reason. I just never figured out what they did.
Well, now you'll learn a secret about my husband's roll recipe. It's actually the family one, but he makes them now. They use mashed potatoes in the roll recipe.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I remember the kids used to sell spud nuts, come around to your businesses in the mornings. Yeah, we missed that.
Oh, and we've got a texter. Tots, gosh. Where's that from?
I don't know.
It's from Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh, I missed that.
Give me some of your tots. I'm starving.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my breakfast potato. Yep.
Sour cream and chive, twice baked. So National Potato Day. I think, first of all, it's really fun. But also what's you mentioned potatoes as just kind of this staple. Do you remember learning about the Great Potato Famine?
No.
That was in Ireland. They were they were so dependent on that as a crop that when they had crop failure, and I think it was several years in a row, that's when we got a large influx of Irish immigrants. And at the time, they were the people that we didn't want to have in the country. All right.
Yeah, and Idaho here, just our neighbor to the north, is the potato capital maybe of the world. I mean, they produce so many potatoes.
Have you, in fact, speaking of the tater tots, that was an invention, I think, by a Utah man. Have you ever grown your own potatoes?
Oh, yeah.
While you're gardening? Yeah. Just like everything else, they're butter if you grow them yourself. But there's a variety. There's a variety of potatoes. So you can have starchy potatoes that are better for some things, like the baking potatoes. You can see those really big ones. Those are better for some people. For what we like the golden potatoes because they just whip up so light and airy, and they don't get all gummy, which sometimes potatoes do. But you can find red ones, and you can find blue ones, and you can find yellow ones. And sweet potatoes, what we call sweet potatoes or yams, they're the orange ones, but sweet potatoes can be white on the inside, and they are even sweeter than a normal potato.
Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah.
I just
How do you
love that.
eat those at Thanksgiving? How do you eat them? Brown sugar and marshmallows?
Yeah, exactly. Well, not the marshmallows, but the brown sugar and a little glaze, yeah.
We had kind of a family rebellion. We didn't love it that way, and so I found a recipe for a sweet potato souffle with a pecan coconut topping. That's how we eat it, and we love it.
Sounds good.
It is really good.
I like potato bars. I mean, we don't have those, but you could literally have a baked potato and have all kinds of ingredients.
We do that.
It's your meal. It's your meal.
We do that on a regular basis. Look, we have some more textures. They love potato latkes. Those are actually really good. I've done that even for kindergarten classrooms. We have another texture that says make mashed potatoes, eat and add sour cream, and then eat in the bottom of the bowl topped with chicken noodle soup. That actually sounds really good.
Sounds really good. What was that last thing? Was that the Swedish
potato latkes?
Yeah.
No, Jewish.
Okay, yes.
That they
right.
have,
Yes, right.
in the winter. So best roll recipe, Heidi says that she's always asked to make for family occasions is a roll recipe using mashed potatoes. And then Rick says there is no one Mormon funeral potato recipe. It's probably related to Delmonico potatoes. But if you remember when we were talking about America 250 and America Cooks, like we're cooking across, Utah's contribution to the America 250 cookbook was 4 different versions of funeral potatoes.
We had that Jell-O thing the other day where we all brought it. But today would have been fun to everybody bring their favorite potato
I brought
recipe.
potatoes, but they're raw.
I know. I was going to say we can't eat yours.
So we do have a texter who remembered. It was Nephi Grigg, the founder of Ore-Ida, who invented tater tots, and he was from Idaho and the Oregon area as well.
Yeah.
So that was really, really fun. Thanks for indulging me on my very fun potato jokes.
Yeah, National Potato Day. Go out and have a tater today. Well, next up on Inside Sources, we have special coverage on our Wednesday heading back to school. Today is the first day of school for Utah's largest school district, Alpine. Next year, it'll be 3 districts, so we'll get updates on that split and how it'll affect you and students in that area next year. Stay with us.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
10 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Amanda Dixon. KSL's top story this hour, a new wildfire is filling the air with smoke near the I-84 US 89 interchange in between South Ogden and South Weber. Firefighters say the Dugway fire has burned almost 24 acres on the hillside near homes, but to this point, no homes have been damaged or evacuated. However, Public Information Officer Kelly Wickens says there's no telling if that'll change later on.
Our primary concern is always firefighter and public safety. If you do live in the area, be prepared in case, as it heats up during the day. Just be prepared. Have your go bags ready.
The fire is still 0% contained. Crews are asking everyone to avoid the area if possible. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. It is day 2 of the Meta trial, where multiple states are suing the company for making Facebook and Instagram addictive and harming kids' mental health. Here is California Attorney General Rob Bonta.
Meta has acted unlawfully here. We are here to hold them accountable.
There's also another lawsuit against Meta by nearly 30 states with similar accusations. The University of Utah is mourning the loss of Deborah "Deb" Daniels, a longtime director of the Women's Resource Center. Daniels led the center from 2003 to 2020 and passed away on August 14th at the age of 70. Daniels led the YWCA's program for survivors of domestic violence in what is now the YWCA Family Justice Center, then worked as the clinical director of the Rape Recovery Center. In 2003, she jumped at the chance to lead the Women's Resource Center, becoming only the 3rd director in the center's 53-year history. Your money at this moment, the Dow is up 158 at this hour. We're at 53,501. Coming up, more triple digits on the way. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 10:02. Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Amanda, every business needs IT help. And sometimes you've got that guy who already works for your company who knows how to do this stuff. But sometimes you don't. Or the guy who knows the IT stuff, that's not his actual job.
Right. So Les Olson IT they can be your 24/7 help desk. They can support your existing help desk. They can do advanced cybersecurity protection. Maybe just come and take a look. Are you subject to phishing or ransomware or other things? What are the cyber threats you're facing?
And you've got to make sure that your data is secure. So both cloud and data backup solutions, they can help you with that. Plus, everybody's got to use a computer. That's where hardware comes in, infrastructure support. You don't have to know all this stuff because Les Olson IT knows it.
And most of the time, they can help you fix whatever's going wrong remotely, just off your computer. Plus, of course, they have copiers and printers. They always will at the very best price.
Les Olson IT is your trusted local IT partner. They've been in business for 70 years, and they've got 9 locations from Logan to Las Vegas.
Find out more at lesolson.com.
You served behind the desk.
You served in combat.
You did 4 years and got out.
You were drafted.
You gave 20 years.
You gave exactly what your country needed.
And so did you.
When you raised your hand and swore an oath to your country, when you put your name on a dotted line, you became part of only 1% of Americans who did the same. You are a veteran.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran. Because no matter when, where, or how you served, you made a sacrifice for your country, and you deserve support.
If you're struggling with life after service, don't wait. Reach out.
Reach out to a loved one, to a fellow veteran, to VA.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
Everything to my back is dark.
High in the alpine wilderness.
Really ugly clouds coming over from the north.
a place
The ridgeline is imposing the escarpments, the drops.
where survival
It's dark now. I have nothing.
is never certain.
This is not good.
My name's Dave Cawley, and I'm the host of a podcast called Uinta Triangle. It's about the disappearance of an Australian hiker named Eric.
Our conclusion and that of the sheriff is that the mountains have decided to keep him.
Come retrace Eric's footprints with me.
You have done this walk too, but this is your backyard. Did he really make a wrong turn, or did he decide that he was done?
He is not the first or last person to vanish in this remote region.
It was haunting to see the photos. I mean, really.
Find and follow the podcast series Uinta Triangle. That's Uinta, spelled U-I-N-T-A, Triangle, wherever you get your podcasts. All episodes out now.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by UCCU. Auto loan rates as low as 4.74% APR. And here's Cormac Bone.
The last of your northbound I-15 delays are still working their way out. It is just a little slow at 13th South, but otherwise looking good on I-15 between Ogden and Provo. And that fire is still affecting Highway 89 near I-84 in the mouth of Weber Canyon. Both directions are pretty slow, just at that intersection right after I-84. That's 660 South. Where you're seeing those congested delays. And we also have some regular delays to watch out for in Lehigh, eastbound 2100 north, still pretty slow from 3600 west all the way over to I-15. No matter the weather, your feet can feel fantastic. Find the Good Feet location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
98 today, then 100 or hotter tomorrow and Friday. But we get a change on Saturday and Sunday, cooler temperatures and a good chance of thunderstorms. Right now, let me check the current temperature and see if I've got that. 83 degrees downtown. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
Back to school. Special coverage on KSL News Radio.
Well, it's an historic day today for the largest district in our state. Alpine School District is having, Holly, today their last first day of school because... they're not going to exist anymore.
I know. This time next year, there will not be an Alpine School District. There will have 3 districts, Aspen Peaks, Timpanogos, and the Lake Mountain School Districts.
Yeah, and today's also the first day of school for you down at UVU.
Yeah, that's right. And I'm not going. I'm teaching, so that's fun. In fact, I'll jump right after the show to head down there, so hopefully no bad traffic.
Yeah, so anyway, well, the Alpine School District is heading back to class today. We want to chat with a few people about this new school year, and the next segment we'll go in-depth with what's going behind the scenes as the district prepares for the split.
But I want to talk today with Katie Bowman. She's an elementary school supervisor with Alpine School District. Thanks for joining us, Katie.
Thanks for having me.
How is this last first day going? And by the way, I have raised my entire family in Alpine School District, and now we have a little caboose that is only going to be in Alpine School District for one more year.
Oh, amazing, amazing. I had the great fortune of being out in schools this morning as students were arriving, and our last first day of school at Alpine, and it's fun to see the care that our school personnel have for students' consideration, the energy and the excitement and the smiles, as well as seeing all of our parents bringing their students to school. So it's been a good start to the day.
Do you expect this year to be any different, Katie, with kids knowing that there's going to be a split next year, that this is their last year with the district? Maybe not necessarily with their particular school, but just that the district split will make a difference?
Yeah, that's a great question. We've been really working with staff, getting input from communities and wanting to focus on, the day-to-day that happens in classrooms with connecting with kids to their learning, to their teachers, partnering with families. So really the hope is that they'll see, some branding change, but their day-to-day experience and their teachers are focused on the learning and the exciting things that they get to do every day in schools.
So I think elementary school, especially kindergarten, is such a fun time. And I'm wondering, as you see maybe parents and kids, who's struggling more, parents or kids?
This morning I was always watching for that because we want the transition to be exciting. And our school personnel do such a great job with connecting beforehand, whether they're reaching out with flyers. A lot of our teachers and administrators will do home visits to make sure that, or they'll send pictures or postcards to make sure that the students know who their current teachers are and that they feel safe and secure coming into the building. But I was also down at an elementary school this morning that a former teacher of a student noticed them pull up to the curb, they'll welcome by name and let me show you where your teacher is. So it's that community coming together because, they're going into a little bit of unknown with new people, but we want them to know that we still know them, care about them, support them. So it's been a good morning, and I've noticed over the years, usually kindergartners are way more excited to be at school than some of their parents are of letting them go.
Katie, tell us about your rookie class of elementary school teachers this year. Those are the teachers that are probably just as excited to go back to be starting their first year of teaching as some of the students are first year of school.
Yeah. Their energy and their new ideas and perspective always invigorates our buildings and our cultures. The nice thing about working in school teams is they have the support of veteran teachers that know how to maneuver the day-to-day or the considerations for how do we make it really smooth on the back end. But then their energy and their excitement just bleeds throughout everywhere that they go. And I had a conversation with some yesterday of really just take a minute and take in. This is your first day with students of teaching, and this is such an amazing career. So take the moments and pause and smile and take it in, because you'll have lots of first days of school, but this will be your first day of teaching, and that's so exciting.
It is. So, Katie, I know this has probably got multiple answers, but if you were going to tell families what they could do to help their elementary school child be successful this year, what are some of your top tips for families?
Yeah. Well, as schools, we value the partnership that our families, that our parents bring, your perspectives. Some people feel like, I have to volunteer at all of these activities to be a part of their school, but I'm working or I have other schedules, I can't make that. But really, just knowing what's going on, asking questions. Our staff want to know what you're wondering about. You have the most insights for your students, and our work is helping the individual child, and every one of them is unique. So I think being willing to share what you know about your child and helping them to be successful as we go throughout the year, and really helping us to build their educational experience is huge.
Katie, in positions like yours, a school supervisor for the district, when it splits up, will that mean that you'll go with one of the next three districts, or you'll be sort of overseeing the three, or how does that work once they're split up? Are they just dealt with entirely differently?
So there is a process that we've been following, that different school personnel will be in different school districts. I know our superintendent, Rob Smith, will be with you guys later today, and he might be able to give some more clarity on the details. But yes, I will be with one of the future districts.
So, Katie, I want to ask one last question about this year. When you're seeing these little elementary school kids, their teachers, etc., what kind of growth are you seeing in Alpine School District? I know that's a whole conversation about the split, but are you out in the Eagle Mountain area where it's still growing? Are you in Orem where it's kind of stable? Or are we having a dance party at school?
Speaker where I am just turned on. Can you turn that off? So to answer your question, the last couple of years I have actually been out in the Eagle Mountain, Saratoga Springs supervising schools. I was a principal out there, and have seen a lot of the growth. This year, my assignment has me in schools in the Pleasant Grove, Orem area. which have, different size, different types of growth. We're seeing lots of growth in Vineyard as far as, housing and enrollment there, but there's other pockets, but it is a different experience.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. We live in the Pleasant Grove area, so we're going to be in that. Yep, in that Timpanogos district, I think is the name.
You already know that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We already know that. Well, thanks so much for joining us today. So that was Katie Bowman, an elementary school supervisor with Alpine School District. And when we come back after the break, there's just a year left. And so we're going to chat with the Alpine superintendent to talk about the breakup. Actually, it's a split, and I know one of the things that the school district is trying to do is set up the next 3 school districts for success. So we're going to talk about that when we come back.
If you're ready to buy a home or sell a home and you're worried about the current real estate market because of what you've heard from some of your friends or family, well, we're here to tell you that you really shouldn't be worried because now is a great time to buy and sell with our friends at the Stern Team, powered by Almada Real Estate.
And here's why. Buyers have more options due to increased inventory, which gives them the power to negotiate for repairs, interest rate buy downs, and closing cost assistance. While at the same time, sellers are still getting top dollar for their homes, with home values that are higher today than ever before. So whether you're looking to buy or sell, the current real estate market presents a win-win opportunity for both buyers and sellers.
But you still do want to make sure that you're working with a team of real estate experts you can trust that can get you some great results. And that's our friends at the Stern Team, powered by Almada Real Estate.
They have helped thousands of Salt Lake City homeowners, and they're ready to help you. To get started, just go to sternteam.com. That's sternteam.com, or Google the Stern Team.
Hi, this is Doug Wright, and I've been a fan of Hale Center Theater from the very beginning. But there is something about this season that is just off the charts. Maybe it's due to the 3 stages now, which accommodate an amazing variety. Take, for example, showing right now on the Beehive stage, Thornton Wilder's Pulitzer Prize-winning novel and Tony Award-winning play is an absolute must-see. It's Our Town. This is a touching story focusing on 2 families in a small town, the sorrows, the joys, the reflections of lives well lived. And then, coming up, we've got Joseph and the amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. The music, the staging, the pure fun of it makes Joseph an all-time favorite. And in mid-August, it's Moriarty. This is the time for you to lock down your tickets for all of the wonderful productions at Hale Center Theater. And all you have to do is go to hct.org.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years. I owed the IRS a lot of money.
Louie was in deep trouble.
We're going to take your house, put a lien on your bank account, garnish your pay. They don't care. They're going to take your paycheck.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $3 billion for their clients.
Optima Tax, they helped me. They calmed me down. They made me feel comfortable, and I trust them.
Louie has a lot to be thankful for.
I don't owe the IRS anymore, and I'm able to live a comfortable life, a lot better life. It was because of Optima Tax.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation. Take it from Louie.
If you owe the IRS, don't go it alone. Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. Optima Tax Relief. Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
If you had been subscribed to Utah Policy this morning, you would have known that it was National Potato Day, and you would have seen my jokes at the bottom of the newsletter. But you also get, more importantly, a comprehensive list of the top local and national stories and a few world stories, the stuff that really makes an impact on your daily life. And that fun part, just go to utahpolicy.com and hit that subscribe button.
Getting help with electrical repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
There's danger out there. It lurks on highways and quiet neighborhood streets. It's more likely to kill you than a shark and more terrifying than the biggest snake. Distracted driving claims lives every day. Every notification, swipe, social post, video, or selfie while driving risks your life. So while you might think public speaking or the zombie apocalypse is scary, what's really terrifying and even deadly is distracted driving. Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel you attract people who tend to be compulsive or abusive?
Do you have money problems because of someone else's drinking?
Are you afraid or embarrassed to bring your friends home?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
More than half of all adults have a family history of alcoholism.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too. Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
And expanded Inside Sources.
So we know hundreds of thousands of Utah kids are headed back to school. Tens of thousands in the Alpine School District are entering the final year of the district.
And my mic needs to be turned on. The next time this year, the district
Try
in
again.
Northern, this time next year, Alpine School District will be split into 3 districts, marking quite a change for K-12 education in that area.
So back to school with Inside Sources. We're joined this segment by Rob Smith. He's the Alpine School District Superintendent. Thanks for joining us, Dr. Smith.
Good to see you all.
Good to see you too. So look, I have questions, and I mean, I think I've been clear. We live in Alpine School District, and I've raised my family there, and we are being shuttled around. My daughter, who just started junior high, she's kind of terrified that next year that won't be in our school district where she's going this year. But I wanted to ask you about some of the behind-the-scenes things that are going to happen over the next year that will help set up these 3 new school districts for success when they open their doors, same schools, different districts, next year.
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you, Holly, for trusting us to be your education partner for your children. It matters. And that's a theme that I've tried to emphasize as superintendent. We partner with our parents in the education of their children. And we've got amazing educators, willing, able. I was at a school this morning visiting with parents, thanking them for trusting us with their children, watching the kids come in. It's an exciting and great day. Those things will remain. That will continue. The good people on the school boards of the new districts, many of the leadership, they are part of Alpine. And so that commitment to learning, commitment to partnering with parents, that's going to continue in the 3 new districts. It's just going to look a little different because it's not what people are familiar with.
Rob, can you tell our listeners what happened with Alpine School District? Because I don't live there, but from my view, it's been an incredibly well-run district. It's the schools there are very, very good. Did it just get so large that maybe it was getting close to being unmanageable? Because it seemed like it was being managed very, very well.
You know, Greg, many factors, I think, contributed to size being one. We have distinct needs in our communities, and they're different. What our South District, our Timpanogos District, and some of the challenges that new board is working with, and Dr. Jensen and his team, as they're getting ready for that, they have some different challenges there than what we have in the Aspen Peaks area here in the central part of our district, and definitely different than what we have in the west part of our district. So meeting local needs, engaging parents in smaller ways, I think was something our community desired, and that's why ultimately you saw the vote come out in 2024.
So I wanted to ask too about maybe faculty and staff. Are they feeling like this will be, I mean, I don't know, but will this be seamless for them as well? Or are they going to feel some hiccups as things transition?
It depends on the staff member. I think we have from one end of the spectrum to the other, some very, very excited about the new districts, new opportunities, new way to create, connect, and innovate for students. I think you have some that are just the transitional loss of what they know and just, a century plus of investment here in Alpine School District. And so I think everywhere in between, depending on which employee you talk to, you're going to get that range of emotions. Here's what we have done. Yesterday, and we meet regularly as superintendents, but yesterday the four of us met together. How do we care for our team members through the transition? Whether that be salary, whether that be benefits, whether that be job conditions, we continue to look for ways to reassure, support, and do it with them. And so that's what we're committed to, and you'll see that also continue in the 3 new districts.
Was the timing of this, that is to say, the split is next year, just because of the enormity of the having to divide it up and to get this schools going, to get the teachers into individual schools, or I was just wondering why it's next year instead of right now, the split.
Yeah. This reconfiguration has never been done in public education in the United States of America. So
wow.
Taking a large district, splitting it into 3, and that district goes away, that has never been done. So we are plowing new ground. We are setting a framework for what may happen, whether it's in Utah or any other state. Hopefully what we have learned building this transition, this reconfiguration, can affect in a positive way others who will go after us, should they choose to reconfigure districts like this. So we are documenting everything. We're engaging the community. I meet regularly with our employees. We've done town halls within the district. I do a sipping with the soup where I grab a drink, whether it be from one of the dirty soda places around, and I go one-on-one and talk with our team members and then share a brief video out. We're doing everything we can to learn, to document, to reassure, but also prepare for what lies ahead. What's ahead of us is way more important than what's behind us.
So I have to ask you, I'm sure there's a party coming sometime, maybe next May-ish. Can you tell us what can we anticipate as things really wrap up for Alpine School District? And I know it's a ways away.
We have a group of amazing people in the community that are preparing for, yes, a party. And how do we celebrate and honor the legacy, the tens of thousands of educators, the millions of students that Alpine has affected over 112 years? They are planning that. Stay tuned for some updates. It will probably happen in the April-May timeframe of 2027. And again, just some amazing humans in our community that are putting that together. But I'm not going to give too much away because they should get the credit for that.
Superintendent Holly indicated at the outset, and I think I understood her to say that her daughter will be attending a different school next year.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's the exception, not necessarily the rule, because you go to the school that's closest to where you live generally.
We believe in Utah and parent choice, and we have many choice options for parents. We establish boundaries, and boundaries help us estimate how many teachers we need, how many classrooms we need, how do we provide the supports and that. But we also allow choice if a parent like Holly or any other parent, if they feel like an educational opportunity for their child is better at this school or that school, we try to facilitate and support that as well. So we have geographical boundaries, and that's a guide that helps us plan or budget for serving students. But we also support and accommodate choice. We want to get students in the place where they will be the most successful in their learning, because that is what educators truly are about.
All right. Well, I'll have to give you an update then, because she just started junior high.
Yeah, let me know.
In Highland. We live in Pleasant Grove, technically. All of our kids went to American Fork High School, so you can see there's this weird dilemma where it's like, where are you going to go, Jazzy? We don't know yet. So.
Hey, well, good luck to you for this school year, and good job, by the way, and thanks for joining us. We did have your elementary school supervisor at the last segment, and she was outstanding, and so you're
and Rich Stoll
you're
this morning.
seemingly in very good hands over there.
Thanks so much, Dr. Smith.
Well, thanks for the opportunity. Katie's a phenomenal human, a great leader, and Rich is as well. So thanks for all the work you do, and let's go forward, Alpine.
So thank you for that. That was Rob Smith, Dr. Smith, Alpine School District Superintendent.
I
didn't ask him what he's going to do next, actually.
Well, I asked Katie, it sort of hinted that, and she's like, we'll let you know later. So I thought maybe that was not something we were supposed to know yet.
Well, Rich actually told the morning news where he's going, so he'll be in the Central District.
Oh, there you
Aspen
go.
Peaks.
There you go.
So, look, as we get closer to the end of the Alpine School District split, we're going to keep you in the loop, including with the party. There will be plenty to cover over the next year.
Yeah, I assume so. And good luck to your kid.
I know. I'm so worried about her. She almost, in fact, my husband texted me this morning and said, she's losing it. I don't think she's going to make the bus. This is day 2. Great.
Okay.
What a great start.
Yeah, there you go. She'll be fine. I was there once. Coming up next on Inside Sources, let's stick with our back-to-school coverage. We want to talk about new warnings for parents to talk to their kids about fentanyl. Stay with us.
If you're talking, they will hear you.
We all want our kids to grow up safe and healthy, so we show them how. And we tell them with honest conversations that let them know what we expect. Not just one time, but every chance we get. That's especially important when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. Kids not only need to know the dangers and how to avoid them, they need to hear it often from you. And when it comes to pain medications, opioids, they need to know that they should never be taken without a prescription and never shared with friends or family. It's dangerous and illegal. So talk with your kids and guide them through the challenges of growing up safe and healthy. Because when you talk, they hear you. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
So talk, they hear you. You can do it if you try.
$10:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Andy Farnsworth. KSL's top story this hour. Crews are working to contain a wildfire at the mouth of Weber Canyon. The Dugway fire started around 3:30 this morning, according to investigators, and has since burned about 15 to 20 acres. Crews say no homes have been damaged or evacuated, though they're still urging homeowners to be ready to evacuate if necessary later on. The fire is 0% contained and the cause is still under investigation. There are now caps on federal loans in an attempt to force colleges to lower tuition rates, but experts worry this may hurt certain high-cost degrees. KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis reports.
Under the president's new budget bill, students will be capped at borrowing $100,000 and professional students can have double that. The Department of Education the cap should incentivize colleges to lower their tuition, arguing with no limits previously in place, they could keep raising tuition indefinitely. However, Deseret News reports the exact results may be hard to predict, potentially hurting students in the healthcare field, and the Federal Reserve Bank of Philadelphia says the limits could create a $12 billion in unmet financing. Brianna Willis, KSL News Radio.
Your money at this moment, the Dow's up 126 points to 53,470. The NASDAQ up 116 points to 26,404. Coming up, we got a few more hot days before more storms. KSL weather's next. KSL News Time, 10:32.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Friday, join KSL News Radio and NPS from 10 to 1 as the movie show stops by. Then browse and uncover what makes NPS so great. With 4 locations, NPS takes in new inventory every day. Then they check all competitors' retail pricing before marking items down 20 to 70% off. So you're invited to visit the movie show Friday 10 to 1. And that's the first step to discovering NPS. Visit npsstore.com to begin your own NPS adventure. npsstore.com.
My summer plans are now double the fun with double points on gas and groceries with my Rewards Visa credit card from Cyprus Credit Union. Every time I fill up or buy groceries, I earn double points that I can redeem for cashback, gift cards, travel, and more. Make summer spending twice as rewarding. Visit CyprusCU.com.
Cyprus Credit Union, your future is our future.
Equal Opportunity Lender.
Progressive presents the Museum of You.
We begin our tour with a unique piece, a relic from the early big screen television era. Remarkable. Next, we find a juicer, which historians believe has only ever been used once. And finally, compact discs from the emo era. A rare find indeed.
Some things should be history, but until then, you could protect what's important to you and save by bundling your auto insurance with a renter's policy from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
If you're in the market for a new vehicle, start at Performance Automotive in Bountiful. Browse a large inventory of Ford, Toyota, and Honda vehicles, plus hundreds of quality pre-owned options. Whether you're upgrading your daily commute, looking for more space for the family, or ready for your next truck or SUV, the team at Performance Automotive can help you find the right fit. Visit Performance Ford, Performance Toyota, and Performance Honda today, or shop online at performancebountiful.com.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by UCCU. You deserve to love where you bank. Let's go to Cormac Bone.
All your delays on I-15 have completely cleared out. It's problem-free between Ogden and Provo on the freeway. Eastbound 2100 north in Lehigh, though, still pretty slow, especially approaching 2300 west. And the Corey Ride, eastbound Corey Ride Highway approaching Mountain View Corridor, normal congestion there as well. Where we have some abnormal delays is both directions of Highway 89, where crews are still working on that fire. Now, you can get through, but they are still asking that you avoid the area for safety and allowing crews to work there without any delay. I'm Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL weather forecast, we should get up to 98 degrees today in Salt Lake City, then 101 tomorrow and 100 on Friday, but we do get some more monsoon moisture moving in Saturday and Sunday. Right now it's fair and 84 degrees in Salt Lake City. I'm Andy Farnsworth from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
Back to school. Special coverage on KSL News Radio.
Well, a new school year always comes with a slew of warnings for parents and things you should be aware of for your kids as they leave the house. One warning out for this year deals with an insidious drug, fentanyl.
It is shocking to me, actually, and I hadn't thought that I needed to have a conversation with my 11-year-old about fentanyl. But officials with the Drug Enforcement Administration say if your child has access to a cell phone, they have access to a drug dealer.
Yeah, and I've been involved in the drug community because of my position as a prosecutor and a defense attorney.
That always sounds weird, by the way.
I know. And I actually helped a small group of people that brought the drug court concept to Utah. And so I followed the drug problem in Utah. And of course, it's tracked America. But when I first started practicing, heroin was a big drug. It still is. Cocaine became big sometime later. And I mean, none of these drugs went away necessarily. Right. Just their popularity diminished a little bit. Then we had meth, which was just insidious. It was awful. Yeah. And then we started having these opioids, which were over-the-counter drugs that people were taking. And then fentanyl came into the picture. And Holly, I will say this, it's the worst. It's the worst of the worst. And I have seen people harmed from fentanyl in ways that I didn't see with any of the other drugs. And I thought meth was as bad as it could possibly be. But fentanyl's every bit as bad. So
I think you know this, but we, a couple of our children that are adults now were meth babies. We adopted them. They were half siblings, but they have significant impacts, and fentanyl is worse. And so I saw this story that KSL did, and it's one where you just say, wait, what? Parents are maybe just not in the know.
Yeah, and we're not here to scare parents. I mean, your kids are smart; they'll do the right thing. But there's something going on. I want to describe that with fentanyl that people may not appreciate, and it happens all the time because people know that fentanyl is a dangerous drug. It is 50 to 80 times stronger than OxyContin.
Wow.
OxyContin is a popular drug. It comes in a blue pill. And so fentanyl dealers have worked out a formula, and I've seen it myself, where they're able to press fentanyl into a drug and put some binders together so that it makes a pill that sticks together, and color it blue, and even put the markings on the pills so that it looks like Oxy. Now,
is that how people die of overdoses?
Absolutely.
Wow.
They call them blues. They literally call them blues because if you buy this off the street and you're not sophisticated, you would think you're buying an Oxy. And maybe they've diluted the fentanyl 80 times, and so it's the same strength as Oxy. Maybe they haven't. Maybe they don't know the formula. Maybe they don't appreciate that it's so much more potent. But people can die from one what they think is an Oxy pill, which would be dangerous all by itself. I'm not saying that there's a safe amount if you're taking it illegally, because there isn't. But fentanyl, it just depends on the manufacturer, the people that are dealing it, and whether or not they understand the formula, because sometimes they don't, and you don't even know what they're mixing it with.
Yeah.
Because they don't mix it with, powdered sugar. I mean, they put something else in it, usually another drug.
Right.
Sometimes it's just a crushed over-the-counter drug. Nonetheless, it's another drug.
Yeah.
And fentanyl, because of that, I mean, if your kid has these light blue colored pills, and I mean, first of all, you take them away from them no matter what, and they say, well, it's his mom's Oxy.
Right.
Still bad, really, really, really bad, but it's probably not what it is.
So I want to talk about the emojis that kids and dealers are using to indicate that they want these drugs. But I wanted to note, because I remember this story, there is at least one, if not more, manufactured fentanyl-like substances that are many times stronger than fentanyl.
Yeah.
They are killing people in tiny, tiny, tiny doses.
Right.
So KSL's Annette Campbell had more on the warning from the DEA and talking with your kids about drugs.
Emojis are powerful pictograms used to create a message, and it can be a hidden message that only certain people know the meaning.
Oh, you can order up pills with emojis, and there's certain emojis together means you're ordering different types of drugs.
McGill China with DEA says marijuana, for example, is often represented by a tree or leaf emoji. Cocaine may be referenced with the magic 8-ball, a key, or even a snowflake emoji.
And you might be able to look at that phone, but you have no idea what they're saying because the conversation's all based on emojis. So you wouldn't even know what they're ordering or what they're doing, because you have to have some code to decipher what the emojis are actually saying.
Parents and teachers are urged to talk with children about the dangers of drug use, especially fentanyl.
If a doctor didn't subscribe it, didn't come from a pharmacy, you shouldn't put that medication in your mouth.
The DEA says more than 73,000 people nationwide have died from fentanyl overdoses this year, averaging about 200 deaths every day.
I think a lot of times all of us have our heads in the sand about what's going on, especially here in the state of Utah. We might think this is not our problem, but it is a problem here in the state of Utah.
Fentanyl Free America is promoting a national call to action aimed at preventing overdose deaths and raising awareness.
If we can get them involved in sports, clubs, other groups and activities, then those are really powerful protective factors against getting involved in negative outcomes like substance use.
Paul Edmonds with Granite ISD says communication is key for parents and teachers alike.
Know their friends, know what's happening at school, just be involved, because that's just a huge thing, a huge factor in helping our students have positive outcomes.
We are encouraged to talk to our children, our family, our friends about the deadly threat of fentanyl, and it is the leading cause of death for Americans 18 to 45.
I still think that like using emojis is like, oh no. So like I've learned there's some emojis that I don't want to use, but I didn't know you could buy drugs via emoji.
Oh yeah, you can. And so you have to ask yourself this: if you're a parent, do you want to make your child disappointed with you because you're looking at his or her phone periodically and maybe going through his backpack periodically, or do you want to go meet him in an emergency room or a morgue? I mean, you have to weigh that. And I would say it's not even a close case. You should be involved in what your kid is doing. And I say this as an attorney and a former prosecutor and a drug court advisor. Your some of your children are doing things you don't know about. Let's just face it. And some of it is the result of maybe the fact that you're not as involved in their lives as you should be. So I don't know. I'm preaching to the choir maybe a little bit here, but have your kid turn over their phone once a week.
Yeah.
Take a look at it.
Yeah.
Go in their backpack once a week, because you don't want to go to an emergency room and pick them up one day because they've overdosed on fentanyl or something like that.
We've got real talk from the attorney today. No, I really appreciate that. And I appreciate KSL doing a story on that. So we're going to continue our conversation on back to school, but we're going to broaden it out a little bit and talk about college. So as you mentioned and I mentioned, I'm going to teach at Utah Valley University today. I'm starting with public speaking, and half my class are freshmen, bless their hearts. So we're really in the full swing. But I wanted to talk about the ways the University of Utah is trying to help students in some of the most challenging classes, the ones that people fail a lot. Yeah, we're going to talk about that when we come back.
Hey, we're looking at the third week of August, thinking maybe summer's about over, but it's not. We still have a lot more summer to come. And I'm telling you that in 4 weeks, you can look different and you can have a better fit for your summer clothes. Your energy can be better. Your confidence can be better. And most importantly, your weight can be better. That's what the SOTA Dynamic Diet is designed to do for you. A degreed nutritionist will build a plan around your body. Call 866-800-SOTA. Mention KSL News Radio, and you will get 4 weeks free. Stop hiding in the back of the photo. Don't spend another summer hoping that black is slimming enough. You can wear any color you want. SOTA gives you the plan, the coaching, the accountability to let you go to the weight. One thing I liked about it, and the reason I hooked up with it, no shots, no pills, just a healthy, natural way to lose weight and keep it off. Call 866-800-SOTA, mention KSL News Radio, and get 4 weeks free. I lost 30 pounds, and I've kept it off for 4 months. I intend to keep it off forever. SOTA has been for me, and it will be for you, state of the art.
Want to rep the bright side? We're giving you a chance to win a limited edition KSL Brightside t-shirt. To enter, visit ksl.com/win. We'll have you subscribe to KSL Brightside on YouTube and leave a comment on your favorite video. You could be one of the lucky winners to sport this exclusive Brightside gear. Tune in for a smart take on life, current events, and everything important to you and your family with a dose of fun. Join Ethan Millard and Alex Geary every weekday from 1 till 3 p.m. on KSL News Radio and streaming live on YouTube from noon till 1 p.m.
What if you had the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi and the price didn't change for 5 years? Guaranteed. Well, thanks to Xfinity, you don't have to worry about that part of your future now through August 24th. Get their best price on gig Wi-Fi this summer before it disappears. Just $50 a month for 5 years. And get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. You're guaranteed 5 years of super intelligent Wi-Fi that keeps you protected from online threats and finds and fixes issues before you even notice them. No annual contracts or commitments, no hidden fees, and the best equipment included. Plus, get Peacock Premium included for 2 years. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Get it now at Xfinity.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Speeds vary. Use of fiber coaxial cable. Learn more at Xfinity.com/same-day Wi-Fi. Xfinity. Imagine that.
What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and if you have a drain that's clogged or backed up, after you've tried the plungers and products, the next step usually involves some kind of drain snake or cabling equipment. You see, sometimes the blockage is far enough down the line that you need special equipment that most homeowners just don't have. That's where the Drains Department at Any Hour Services can help. A drain snake can clear most blockages and get the water flowing again, and clearing blocked drains is what our Drains Department does day in and day out. So if you're a homeowner with a drain line that's clogged or backed up and you'd like one of our drain technicians to come and snake the line for you, it's only $29. Yep, you heard that right. Any Hour Services will snake any drain line with normal access for only $29. Sinks, showers, tubs, toilets, floor drains, laundry drains, even that sewer main line that connects to the city. We'll snake any line for just $29. For help with your drain issues, call Any Hour Services at 801-443-7700. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit usps.com/groundadvantage to learn more.
And Doug.
Hot dog! Get your hot dog!
Customize! Customize and save with Liberty Mutual.
Hey, what are you doing?
I like your method. Direct. To the point. A little loud, but...
Listen, people don't buy car insurance the same way they do hot dogs.
Not yet, but both are customizable.
Popcorn! Get your popcorn!
Hey, this is a hot dog area.
And customize and save area. Get a quote at libertymutual.com or with your local agent.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
When American troops withdrew from Afghanistan in 2021, thousands of evacuees fled to the U.S. for protection. Many Americans welcomed their new neighbors.
For the last week, the governor tells me his office has been getting calls nonstop with Utahns wanting to help.
When we saw the pictures and the videos coming out of Afghanistan, we prayed to be able to help them.
But then, what happened? Listen to Stranger Becomes Neighbor, wherever you get your podcasts.
And expanded Inside Sources. Inside Sources.
So it's not only back to school season for kids in the K through 12, but also for college students. So my first day at UVU is today, and I'm excited. It's really a lot of fun. I'm teaching Intro to Public Speaking. I'm also teaching media ethics.
You know, I miss teaching. I taught at the community college and at the police academy and at the law school, and I loved it. I miss doing that, and I'm jealous that you're getting to do that.
You can guest speak.
Yeah,
It's great.
I'm going to sign up. But, you know, for college students, the classes can be a little bit harder, a lot more challenging. So up at the University of Utah, they're working on something, this is really interesting, to make high failure classes more doable.
All right, so I want to tell you, I did have to retake classes, right? That's what they're talking about, the classes with the rates where students have to keep retaking them. So you're gonna laugh at me. When I was a BYU student graduating as a registered nurse, I got my only D, but they still let me graduate. But do you want to guess what it was in?
Calculus.
No, it was in American Heritage.
Oh, you could write the book.
Oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed. But I also retook a class on microbiology and organic chemistry about killed me, but I only had to do that one time.
Yeah, we're talking about DEWI classes, they call them. In other words, the classes where you get a D, an E, a withdrawal, or an incomplete. And I remember when I was in engineering school, before I went to law school, I took organic chemistry and physical chemistry because I was a metallurgist.
Yeah.
And they asked the class, first day of class, how many of you have taken this class before? And half the students raised their hand.
Yeah.
Because either they didn't pass or they didn't get a very good grade and they wanted to go on to medical school.
Yeah.
When I started law school, the first day of class, the dean got up and spoke to us and said, a fourth of you won't be here next year.
Wow.
They expected the attrition to be like that. Now, let me tell you sort of the flip side of that. My stepson started law school a couple years ago in Denver, and they are working hard with him and others. Mm-hmm. He's a bright kid. To make sure they pass, to keep them in the school. It's not like, hey, we expect a 25 to 30% attrition. They're saying we expect a 100% pass rate, which is great. I think it's the way it should be instead of this, kill or be killed attitude that colleges have had in the past.
So a couple of things. When I was doing my PhD program, I was really stunned to learn that the dropout rate for PhDs is about 50%. About 50% don't actually finish, but my husband, when he was taking a math class, he graduated in computer science, but he had a teacher, and this was down at BYU, who stood up at the front of the room, and he basically said, I don't give A's, and most of you will fail this class. And he had like a 75% fail rate. I mean, it was so high. Well, what the University of Utah is doing is they are looking at these classes that have a failure rate above 15%, and they're saying, okay, what can we do to help our students be successful? They're not dumbing down the curriculum. What they're doing is saying, where are our pain points? Some of it might be a professor who goes, well, I don't give A's.
Right, yeah, or I expect to fail a group of you. But I think this is great, and I don't think it's, making kids weaker by saying, oh, we're going to help you pass no matter what. I think it's making kids stronger by saying, okay, you may have suffered in a class like this, but we're going to find a way for you to get through it. And I think there are a lot of ways to do that, including mentors, including helpers, including just teachers that understand, hey, some kids might get behind. Because when I was in engineering school, if you got behind in a class, you were done. You were done.
Yeah.
You'd never make it up.
Yeah. So I'm looking at some information, and this is actually information straight from the University of Utah, but I'm looking at, for example, Math 1050, right? So they started talking about with people who taught that class, they had a 25% of grades that were either the D or the E, which I think used to be an F, or a withdrawal or incomplete. So 25% were not passing the class. And just saying, okay, what's the organizational design? What are some of the ways that we can do this? How can we translate this? Because now almost everybody, including the University of Utah, we use Canvas, like on the back end. How do we create that and lessons in a way that these kids who are taking this can see their way through?
What is Canvas?
Canvas is basically software. It's on where everything lives. So my syllabus lives in Canvas. The assignments are submitted in Canvas. My slide deck is in Canvas. All those things. Everything is there.
So as a teacher, what do you think you can do to help kids? Because you're doing a class that I think is almost required for a lot of students at your school.
So it's a general education class, this public speaking class. It's really interesting. So this fall at UVU, which is the largest public university in the state, we have 1,500 students taking public speaking in the fall from 30 different professors, adjuncts and full-time professors. And they're, yes, so you can see all levels. It can be used as one of the GE requirements, and so you see a lot of kids who are doing that. But also, one of the reasons they did that is because they were getting feedback that it used to be an optional class for the communication majors. They're getting so much feedback. These kids are going out into the world and they don't know how to speak.
Yeah.
And it's not, I'm not talking about standing up and performing, right? I'm talking about how do you have a conversation with your boss, right? How do you do a wedding toast, even something that simple? What's also fun is Amanda Dixon teaches the same class, but she teaches at the University of Utah.
Yeah, I mean, how do you address a group? Just people at your house, or
do a slideshow. You know, what's the saying? Death by PowerPoint. You need to be able to do a slideshow that doesn't make people nod off and they're so bored. But look, I really like this idea of looking at the classes where students just fail over and over, and is it something about the classes that can be improved, right? And I'll just say, you know, for some people, they may sail through the class. You probably did really well in the chemistry classes.
Yeah.
Right? I thought inorganic was okay. Organic chemistry really just about killed me.
Yeah, I mean, the math and sciences, believe it or not, I mean, I'm an attorney now, but math and science I loved it.
Yeah, and
I love it today.
Thank you.
Yeah, but I mean, law schools are actually hard for me because it was a different kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And I wish, and I did fine. I graduated. I passed the bar. Blah blah blah. But I wish that I had more. And the University of Utah was great. I'm not being critical, but it was just a different time then when it was sort of you may wash out. See you later. And I didn't. Luckily, I wouldn't be here. But it was. I wish that we had a little bit more.
Yeah.
Hey, what can we do to help you out?
Yeah, I don't believe in academic hazing, and I feel like every once in a while you'll see some of that. And in fact, when I was in nursing school, and hopefully this has changed too, but after my first semester of clinicals, so I had done all the prerequisites, I got in, I did clinicals. My instructor took me aside and said, "I don't think you have what it takes to be a nurse. I think you should drop out." I'm like, well. Yeah. Thank you very much. That actually was motivating for me. It's like, well, just watch me. And then I graduated and I passed my nursing boards on the first try. So there you go.
Yeah. So we're talking about a program the University of Utah is starting, tackling difficult courses and making sure that young people have the skills that they need to pass. I mean, some people are not going to do it, not going to take advantage of it, and they're still going to drop out. But the University of Utah is taking steps. And I assume this is going to be across the board, your school, others, to help kids and say, hey, what can we do? How can we help you pass instead of how can we weed out the weak and just so that the strong pass?
So we've got a couple of texters who've weighed in on this, and one says to us, a teacher with the attitude that most students will fail is the problem, not the students. That's a teacher who doesn't know how to teach. I had one like that in high school, she says, or he says.
I agree with that.
And then another one says, I find what you're talking about very interesting as a teacher. I was never proud of having to give students an F or a D. I almost took it as a personal failure as a teacher. And I'll just say this, last semester was my first teaching undergrad students. I've taught graduate students before, but there were kids who just didn't do the work. And if you didn't do the work, you did not get a good grade. And I think maybe that's one thing too, right? Is you got to do the work.
Yeah, I mean, I taught paralegal classes at the community college, and you could tell kids that were not into it and didn't care, but others that really wanted to become paralegals. I see them today. I see some of the students that I taught there that are now lawyers.
Oh wow!
Went to paralegal school and became a lawyer, and one became a judge. I mean, these are kids that they wanted to learn, and I felt like as a teacher I was helping them learn, helping them pass.
Yeah.
Well, good for getting back to school and another day, another school district. I think we're all up to speed now. Almost all the districts are going.
Wow, there's more next week even.
Well, in the next hour on Inside Sources, we want to talk about a new poll that's kind of interesting. It's maybe a juxtaposition. Most Utahns are opposed to the president's recent slashing of 2 monuments in the state, but at the same time, most Utahns want public lands more under local control. Let's break that down when we come back.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
It's 11 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Cameron Elliott. KSL's top story this hour, crews are working to contain a new fire burning at the mouth of Weber Canyon. The Dugway fire has burned about 15 to 20 acres since early this morning, and it is 0% contained. It's burning close to Highway 89 near I-84, which could end up helping firefighters, according to Public Information Officer Kelly Wickens.
When we have roadways and things like that, it gives us a added benefit of being able to hold the fire on those lines.
Wickens says some homes were threatened early this morning, but not anymore since strong winds have pushed the fire away from them. No evacuation orders are currently in place, but she says people should be ready to leave just in case. In other local news, Utah Valley University welcomes students back today for their first classes of the 2026 fall semester. The school is also welcoming a new president, John Anderson, as the university's 8th president. And finally, the University of Utah is mourning the loss of Deborah "Deb" Daniels, a longtime director of the Women's Resource Center. Daniels led the center from 2003 to 2020 and passed away on August 14th at the age of 70. Daniels led the YWCA's program for survivors of domestic violence in what is now the YWCA Family Justice Center, then worked as the clinical director of the Rape Recovery Center. In 2003, she jumped at the chance to lead the Women's Resource Center, becoming only the 3rd director in the center's 53-year history. Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow Jones is up 96 points. That's just a fraction of a percent. Gold has jumped up today, $131 an ounce. That's nearly 3%. And oil is up $1.89 a barrel. That's at $86.83 a barrel. Coming up, we've got 2 more 100-degree days on the board. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 11:02.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
Mike Rowe here with another random fact. Those cracks on your walls aren't just cosmetic. They could mean your home is sinking. Whether it's drywall cracks, exterior cracks, or sticking doors or windows, do yourself a favor. Call Groundworks. I spent some time working with these guys, and they're the real deal. Their people are trained and certified to stabilize your foundation. Schedule a free inspection with Groundworks, the foundation and waterproofing experts.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for detail.
Hey Utah, have you heard? Nuclear energy might be coming to our state. Now, before your brain jumps straight into sci-fi movies, let's talk about what nuclear actually does. Nuclear technology helps power our nation's submarines, supports life-saving cancer treatments, and produces reliable electricity for millions of homes. That said, nuclear power also comes with some common misconceptions. Don't worry, we get it. Here's a fun fact. You're exposed to more radiation eating bananas than you are living near a nuclear power plant. And get this, a lifetime supply of nuclear energy fits into a single soda can. Despite what some people believe, nuclear energy is safe, clean, and incredibly efficient. But don't just take my word for it. Energy decisions matter, and Utahns deserve the facts. Learn more about nuclear and what it can mean for you. Visit energy.utah.gov/nuclear.
I'm really interested to hear about how your parents talk to you at home, and how do you think they can kind of break through to you?
It's just to talk about it. It's just seriously it's going to be awkward at first. But if you keep repeating it over and over again, it's just going to feel natural.
Keep going, and soon we'll just be able to talk about it.
Talking about mental health with your teens is the power of we in action. Visit intermountainhealth.org/teen mental health.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by UCCU. You deserve to love where you bank. Here's Ricky Meese.
A small accident in South Salt Lake, southbound to I-15 near 33rd South, getting moved out of traffic. But a crash in Weber County, it is causing delays. This crash is westbound 2700 north, just before the I-15 junction in Far West. Right now, it is blocking traffic and backing traffic to Highway 89. The Good Feet store is supporting you with comfort no matter what the day brings. Find the location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Today, the high is going to be 98, but we'll break into the hundreds for Thursday and Friday before diving back to the low 90s with a 30% chance of rain on Saturday. Right now, though, it's 86 degrees and fair in downtown Salt Lake City. I'm Cameron Elliott from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
Well, it wasn't long ago that President Trump issued an executive order slashing the size of two of Utah's national monuments, Bears Ears and Grand Staircase, by something like 90%. Well, the fallout from that continues, and now we're getting some idea from some polling of how Utahns feel about that move.
So it's interesting. There was polling done by Deseret News and Hinckley Institute of Politics, but it's showing that the majority of Utahns do oppose shrinking the monuments, and at the same time, a majority support putting public lands in the hands of local governments.
So I don't know that that's necessarily a juxtaposition, but I think it says something. That is the fact that Utahns feel like control at a local level makes sense.
Yeah.
They also feel like we can control it, and that the monuments at their former size could have been managed and maintained well by local authorities.
So
maybe I'm just surmising.
Yeah, I mean the way they ask the questions, right? Sometimes you don't know for sure, but I'll say this: when you're talking about which level of government should have the most control, there was an outlier group who thought that the federal government should have the most say. Do you want to guess who?
Democrats.
Democratic men, specifically.
Really?
Yeah. 30% said the federal government should have the most say. Everybody else, including Democratic women, were 7% or less. And then Gen Z was the least likely demographic to think the federal government should have the most say. I think that's really interesting.
We're the least?
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Only 3% of Gen Zers say the federal government should have the most say.
And people are not enamored with the federal government right now.
I know. Yeah, look, so this...
Which is so weird.
Yeah.
Because when you think about... I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No, it's okay.
You think about managing public lands, you would think that the more liberal position would be let the federal government do it. But in this day and age, that's not necessarily the case.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so 56% of Utah voters opposed the decrease in size for the two national monuments. One of the things, though, that this article talks about, and I wonder maybe if this is the case, is maybe people aren't clear about what a monument is. I mean, you are, because you have a place down there. You go often. Sometimes if you talk about a national monument, I mean, maybe you're thinking about the Washington Monument, right? The big obelisk.
Right.
That it's something big. And this is what one of the people that they're quoting in the article is what they're talking about. So if you're thinking that it's like supposed to be a building or it's a specific, historic thing that maybe they're not understanding, but I don't know. I mean, I think most people in Utah are pretty aware of what a national monument is.
Yeah, and I think that if you say national forest, national park, we understand that very well. National monument, you think, well, what's going on here, and how is that different? We have our national parks here in Utah. We're like you said, my place is next to Capitol Reef, and it's also next to the national forest, Fish Lake National Forest. I mean, they're different. They're managed differently. The national park obviously has a little bit less access to. For example, I like to mountain bike. You can mountain bike in the national forest. You cannot mountain bike in the national park. You know what I mean?
That's so interesting.
And just because, and you could have your dog run around the national forest. No dogs allowed in the national park. Different rules, different regulations, different levels of keeping it more pristine. And I think that makes sense. Presidents, as we've talked about before, have these Antiquities Act things that they do as they're exiting office, and they'll designate these monuments and say, hey, let's preserve this area. I've said it before, and I don't want to repeat it too much. The Democrats went too big and the Republicans went a little bit too small, and there's got to be something in between where we can agree. But Bears Ears and Grand Staircase Escalante are just almost. In fact, there is no national park in the Escalante area now, I think, or in one of the areas.
There's Grand Staircase isn't part of it anymore.
Right, yeah, that's like, come on.
The actual Grand Staircase. So it's interesting to what people supported and didn't support for use on that land. So if you're part of the monument, the BLM is saying, look, you can't drill for oil or gas. We're not going to do utility scale energy development, etc. But I think the conversation is, as you start to say these are now shrunk, we have people, a mining company, who filed a claim the very next day. As soon as the president signed the executive order, there was a claim from a mining company saying, hey, I want to be able to mine here.
Yeah. And we had a mining executive who purchased some stock a week before the designation. That's a different story.
That's a different story, but yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, sure. And they're going to jump into that as quickly as possible, because if we get a Democratic president in the next 4, 8, 12 years, who knows, they may redesignate it or do something like that. It seems, and we've said this before.
The whiplash.
Yeah. Congress probably just needs to step in and make some decisions, and let's just be done with it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do think it's interesting, too, though. You see, this is something where I didn't realize that on an international monument, you can't even take or destroy dead, mature trees, right? Like you can't do that. And that's interesting when you're talking about wildfire management, and we've seen that this year, right? About half the people in this survey supported timber and firewood cutting, 52%. 56% supported building new roads, and 56% supported off-road vehicle use, and 72% favored livestock grazing. So there you go.
Yeah, right. My wife and I like to collect rocks. You can't do that in the national park. You can't pick up a little piece of petrified wood. In the national park, you can, but it's limited to a certain weight. You can't take very much. And then in our yard, you can take a little bit, whatever you want, because it's private property. But it's interesting because we gather a lot of petrified wood, and there are areas you can and areas you can't pick it up, which is how it should be.
Yeah,
absolutely how it should be.
I think if Congress can ever become functional, that maybe they could really pass something to say either restrict the Antiquities Act and put some boundaries on it, or actually say, okay, we're going to turn these into national parks or whatever it is, to just say we're going to stop the whiplash, because that's just just not good.
Yeah, so let's take a minute and talk about the flip side, which is state and local control
Yeah,
of this.
yeah.
Because we have talked in the past about the fact that sometimes the federal government doesn't manage the land. They don't do enough. And the state would love to come in and manage the roads and keep them clear and create fire breaks and harvest wildlife so that it doesn't get out of hand. And the federal government is saying stay away. So there has to be a balance. And I think a lot of people in Utah, because we have so much public land, are saying, let us manage it a little bit. Let us come in and do some things so that we're not having these wildfires.
Yeah.
Because the feds are saying you can't go harvest trees, like you said, which would create great fire breaks.
Yeah. So 46%, almost half, think that local city or county level government should be the ones with the most say, and 36% think the state government. So those are interesting numbers, and I don't know if that will impact some of the discussions on Utah's Capitol Hill for the next legislative session, but it might, because people are saying, yeah, absolutely, the people who live down here, we should be able to have a say, the most say.
And if you go down to Escalante or those areas, those poor business owners down there are like, we're at a national park
It's
now,
whiplash.
or hey, we're not. We're trying to sell.
We have
souvenirs.
outdoor recreation.
We have
Okay,
outdoor
wait.
recreation.
Now we have mining.
What are we going to do? Yeah, it's tough. And I think that a lot of those areas, like you said, we're probably more like, can we just make a decision and just be done with it so we know what we're doing, we know what we can sell, we know what we can operate and how we can operate, instead of making this, like you call it, the whiplash.
I would like to see the Antiquities Act revised, personally. I think that's a good place to start, to say presidents don't actually have carte blanche to do this.
Yep.
All right. Well, next on Inside Sources, we're getting close to the 1-year anniversary of Charlie Kirk's murder. Utah County attorneys are pushing the judge again to take the case to trial and allow the aggravated charges to stand. We're going to get our KSL legal analyst's take next after the break.
This is Colin Keary from the New Millennium Group. Have you ever had a question for your financial advisor only to find out that the next available appointment is months away? At New Millennium Group, we believe that financial advice should never be limited to once-a-year review meetings. Life happens every single day. Markets change, retirement questions come up, family situations evolve, and when they do, you deserve answers. That's why we pride ourselves at the New Millennium Group on being accessible when our clients need us most. Whether you're wondering about your investments or a major life decision, our team is here to help provide guidance. We're not interested in being the firm you hear from once a year. We want to be your trusted resource throughout your entire retirement journey. If you're looking for a financial team that values relationships, communication, and responsiveness, we'd love to meet you. Give us a call today at 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370, or visit us at utahsfinancialplanner.com.
Hi, thanks for calling Uline.
Wait, did the phone even ring?
Nope.
Okay, so you answered before the ring. But now you're going to put me on hold, right?
We don't do that here. We're real people answering the phone, ready to help with your order when you are.
Uline has thousands of quality products for your business and warehouse needs, always in stock, ready to ship same day, and backed by Uline's legendary 24/7 customer service. Uline, we warehouse for you.
Join the conversation. Do you have an idea or a topic you think we should talk about more on the show? Let us know. You can send us an email at insidesources@ksl.com and tell us what you think we should cover. We're always looking for ideas and love to keep you, our listener, included in the chat.
I'm Maria Chaleos here with Bonnie from Salt Lake City Fat Loss.
Yeah, good to be here. Thanks.
Tell us why the Salt Lake City Fat Loss program is preferred versus other weight loss programs that offer pills or injections.
Our program is the #1 natural alternative to drugs or injections, and for those who want to lose fat and not muscle. People are spending hundreds of dollars on these injections that are giving them slower weight loss, where our program is a fraction of the cost and they're losing twice the amount of weight.
Can people lose weight fast on your program?
Most of our clients lose 20 to 30 pounds in about a month or two, but the biggest thing is they're learning the skills to keep the weight off.
What are some things that set your program apart from other weight loss programs?
It's very easy to follow, and we use regular grocery store foods. There's no heavy exercising required, and you get a personal health coach to help you every step of the way.
I chose the Salt Lake City Fat Loss program along with over 70,000 people from across the U.S. Schedule your free consultation online at slcfatloss.com.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up, we thought we'd bring our prices
down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Visit mintmobile.com/radio. Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan required. $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. See terms.
On BritBox, your next hidden gem is right around the corner.
If you're going to be bold, here is the place to do it.
Get ready for Britain's most anticipated series, streaming exclusively on BritBox. Catch new seasons of favourites, including Ludwig, starring David Mitchell.
You want someone to get murdered?
And the eagerly awaited new adaptation of Agatha Christie's iconic detective duo, Tommy and Tuppence.
Do you think we're actually really good at this?
Stream the best of British TV on BritBox. Watch with a free trial.
Any Hour Services can make sure your AC keeps you cool this summer. Whether you need a tune-up, repair, or just a second opinion about replacing it, call Any Hour Services or visit anyhourservices.com.
Stolen Voices of Dole Valley, a gripping new podcast about a serial killer you've probably never heard of, Warren Forrest.
If he had dumped two, you would have thought maybe there's another one.
But now a witness, identified in the podcast, could lead investigators to Jamie Grissom. Binge Stolen Voices of Dole Valley wherever you get your podcasts and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the latest breaking news in the case.
The more you listen to your kids, the closer you'll be. So we asked kids, what do you want your parents to hear?
I feel sometimes that I'm not listened to. I would just want you to listen to me more often and evaluate situations with me and lead me towards success.
We're not adults, so just be there and listen. I just want someone to yap to. And I just feel like I'll be fine if someone just hears me talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk.
You're doing a really good job. And I don't think I tell you that enough. And I know sometimes we get into it and it's just hard on both of us. But try to understand me more and I'll try to do the same.
Listening is a form of love. Find resources to help you support your kids and their emotional well-being at sounditouttogether.org. That's sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and Pivotal.
Inside Sources.
So we're still waiting for an official notice as to whether or not Tyler Robinson is going to go to trial. He's the man accused of shooting and killing Charlie Kirk at UVU. The judge is waiting for the final hearing on September 1st.
Yeah, in the meantime, the prosecution continues to push the judge to send the case to trial with the aggravating elements. In other words, to make this a death penalty case. Mm-hmm. The defense is saying you can go to trial just without that. They're saying let's make this just a regular murder case.
Because he's such a good shot. So the prosecution submitted another filing defending their aggravated claims. So you have helped me understand there's a lot of back and forth that is happening before we even have a judge say, yes, okay, we're going to have a trial. That's kind of wild to me. I didn't realize there was so much.
And it's a little bit unusual, except when you're dealing with a death penalty case, which is what this is. So the preliminary hearing was held, I think, in July. It went for 4.5 days. And the judge then gave each side an opportunity to give their response, to say, okay, why do you think I should bind it over, or why do you think I should not? And the state first got their, it was toward the end of July, they said, here's why you should bind it over.
Right.
We think it's a great case, blah, blah, blah. The defense weighed in about 2 weeks later and said no. And the defense did something you sort of hinted at a minute ago, which is to say they didn't focus on whether it should be bound over as a murder. They focused on whether it should be bound over as an aggravated murder. Mm-hmm. And they said that the aggravating circumstance in this case, which is that the defendant, and I'm just paraphrasing from my knowledge, defendant created a grave risk of death to others besides the defendant and the person that was killed. That's an aggravating circumstance, and that's the one that the state is hanging their hat on in this case. The defense is saying he didn't create a grave risk of death to anyone other than himself and the accused, because you said it before, sort of facetiously, but it is kind of reading the art. He was such a great shot, no one else was even in harm's way.
Yeah.
He was killed. It was a single shot, blah, blah, blah. There was no other people that were injured or even in the line of fire. So why are we saying that other people were in grave risk of death?
Right.
It's an argument they had to make. So they make that argument, and a lot of us were kind of going, whoa, because they didn't argue anything
else.
else.
That he wasn't guilty.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I thought, I mean, in some respects, and then I'll get to the state's response here to the response, I thought it made sense because when you're arguing a case before a judge or especially an appellate judge, which this is not, take your best shot, but don't just do the shotgun approach and say, well, they missed this, and they missed this, and they missed that, and like everything.
Yeah.
Like you're laughing because take your best shot was a very poor thing to say. But I'm just saying, focus on the issue and the argument that gives you the most sense and get credibility with the judge. And I think the defense tried to do that here.
So the state has, it feels like the state filed a response. The defense filed another response, and now the state is responding to the defendant's response. Is that right?
Yeah. So in a court of law in America, the moving party has to go first and last. You have to prove your case.
Okay.
In this case, the state is the moving party. They're trying to get it bound over.
Okay.
So they filed here it wasn't really a response. It was their summary of the preliminary hearing.
Okay.
Here's why it should be bound over. The defense says, no, it shouldn't. And then the state gets the last word. They get the first and the last word because they're the ones that are requesting the relief.
Okay.
That's how we do things.
Okay.
They've now filed their response to the response. You said it exactly right. The judge will then hear oral arguments on these responses on September 1st, which is now, after the prelim, it seemed like a long time away.
I guess
but
it's
now
2 weeks away.
Now it's pretty close. And I think he's given each side 2 hours. Like, what are they going to say? And
that they haven't already said.
Yeah, but I mean,
is it going to be? Well, let me ask this: is it likely to be repetitive? Are they just going to read from here is my statement again? I still think we have presented enough evidence.
One thing that a good judge will do, and this is a good judge, is he will say at the outset, "I've read your papers. I've read every line of them. I've read every word of them. What do I need to know that's not in those? I don't need to hear it again."
Yeah.
They'll say it again anyway. Yeah. But, I mean, that's what a judge does. One thing I wanted to talk about as I read the state's response is that there is a little bit of animosity that I don't usually see in written documents.
Oh,
so the defense argues that the aggravating circumstance doesn't apply, and they go through an evidentiary standard that a court is supposed to follow at a preliminary hearing.
Right.
They say, there are rules of evidence that apply because the state is saying, well, it's a loosey-goosey hearing. The judge and so they make their argument, and then the state says this. I'm just going to read something. It bothered me. They're talking about the defense logic. The Utah Supreme Court has rejected that logic, a fact that the Utah Court of Appeals has repeatedly recognized. Defendants' counsels ignoring this controlling case law have therefore violated their ethical duty of candor to the court. Now, that means what they're saying is that the defense's argument is not only wrong, but it's unethical. And ethical duty of candor, they're lying to the court. I mean, you don't expect that in a written document. You really don't. You can say, we disagree with the defense. They're arguing this. We disagree. We think the law says this. Or, they don't take into account this. But to say they ignored controlling case law and have therefore violated their ethical duty, I was surprised at that. It's not something that, for me to read, if I was a defense attorney, I read that, I would think that's a very personal attack on my integrity. Now, maybe they felt that was true, and I don't know the nuances of the argument. Well, actually, I do. I know what the arguments are pretty well. Nonetheless, I don't know that that's the kind of thing I would put in a document. I would say in 44 years, it's something I've never put in a document.
Yeah.
That the defense, that the other side has
court.
Violated their ethical duty of candor to the court. Candor meaning truthfulness. Do
you think, is that something that a judge would ask them about?
I think it's something the judge himself would be uncomfortable reading.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a career prosecutor, and maybe he just thinks, well, maybe he's seen it enough. Maybe people have, attacked him when he was a prosecutor. We've all seen that happen. But I think you'd be uncomfortable. I wouldn't be surprised if he sort of chided them a little bit, like, hey, let's just stick to the argument instead of maybe not. I don't know. Maybe he agrees with it. Maybe he read the defense motion and thought, boy, that's not right. They're trying to pull the wool over on me.
So we do have a texter with a question, and I think it's valid because we're saying, I think what I'm understanding you saying is if you take death penalty off the table, he's still probably going to go to prison for life. And this texter says, why does it even matter if he gets sentenced to death or not? Death row inmates just die of old age in Utah.
Well, I think that there's reason to feel that way. And we have seen 3 cases in the last year, Menzies, Carter, and Lovell, where inmates have been on death row for 40 years and have had, one died, one had his case flipped over, let's have a new trial, and one had the death penalty phase of the case flipped over, let's do it over.
Twice, right?
Right, twice.
Wow.
And in all 3 of those cases, had the state back in 1980, whatever, said, go to prison, life without parole, see you later, goodbye.
We wouldn't
That's
have even talked
exactly
about
what
him.
would have happened.
Yeah.
But when you have the death penalty, and again, I've done these from both sides. The appeals never stop. Yeah. I mean, they were filing appeals for Ralph Menzies.
Yeah.
He had a date with the executioner, and they had the
within a couple of days.
Right, and they're filing last minute appeals, and they're doing that. That's what you do with death penalty cases. I mean, I have my feelings about the death penalty. I don't need to reassert them here, but you cannot, as a good lawyer, not look under every stone and not look under everything that you can to try to make sure that your client is dealt with fairly, because ultimately the state's going to put him to death.
Or he's going to die in prison, right? I mean, I think that's the point. I saw some really interesting polling, and I know we're about out of time on this, but I saw some interesting polling probably last week that said the majority of Americans that they polled on this nationwide poll did support the death penalty, but almost nobody believes that it's a deterrent. They just don't think it's a deterrent.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
I would just say this. I think if you're going to have a death penalty, we should be a little bit more circumspect. Yeah. Maybe we file a few too many death penalty cases because we can. That's just me. Next up on Inside Sources, we want to have a follow-up conversation on one we had earlier this week on postpartum health care. The recent death of an actress is bringing up some renewed conversations on how we approach postpartum depression. More on that after the bottom of the hour news.
It's 11:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Cameron Elliott. KSL's top national story this hour from ABC News. It's day 16 of the trial of Lindsay Clancy, the woman accused of murdering her 3 children in Massachusetts. Clancy's defense said she was suffering from postpartum psychosis during the 2023 killings. ABC's Peter Haralambous has more on psychologist Paul Zeisel, who took the stand.
This witness is basically acknowledging that these voices came to her after she was having increasingly intrusive thoughts, that it was a male voice. But on cross-examination, prosecutors are trying to poke holes in a way in terms of the credibility of the testimony. For example, Zeisel basically testified that the last time she ever heard a voice in her head was the actual day of the killings. He also acknowledged that nowhere in her medical records prior to the incident do any of the providers who treated her make note of a kind of male voice speaking to her, though they acknowledged that she was having these constant intrusive thoughts.
Other national stories KSL is following. Philadelphia police are still on the hunt for a masked person causing havoc for joggers in the area. ABC's Rhiannon Alley has the details.
Chilling video released by investigators shows a man wearing a disturbing doll face mask.
He's actively engaged in running up to people. It looks like he's attempting to scare or antagonize them.
Police now scouring surveillance video in the area, believing he's threatened or chased at least a half a dozen people. Police say the suspect is seen using a cell phone, appearing to film the terrifying encounters. Intelligence units now scouring social media.
Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow Jones is up 115 points. That's 0.25%. Gold and oil have both taken quite a jump. Gold is up $126 an ounce. That's about 3%. And oil is up nearly $2 a barrel. That's a little over 2%. Coming up, we've got 2 more 100-degree days on tap. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 11:32.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
This is Utah tax attorney Jordan Wilcox. Don't wait. End your tax nightmare now.
So I needed a tax attorney because of my outstanding balance. It was like $59K. I got the letter from the IRS stating that we could seize your house. And my son lives with me and he's also on the house. You know, I didn't take those threats lightly. As a mom, I'm like, yeah, you're not going to take my kids' stuff. So I did find Jordan Wilcox and I decided to give him a call.
Let us fight the IRS for you.
So the IRS, I owe them $59,000 and my settlement was $560. I actually cried. I felt like the weight of the world came off my shoulders.
This is Utah tax attorney Jordan Wilcox. Let's solve your IRS nightmare. Visit endtaxworry.com. Endtaxworry.com.
Oh, ouch! Oh, my back is killing me.
Is this you when you get in and out of your truck bed as you work from your truck or van? Reaching up for tools, equipment, materials, ladders, and heavier items? There is a better way, a safer way. And Jordan Camper at 7000 South State in Midvale has the solutions, such as drop-down ladder racks that lower ladders to the side of your vehicle for safe and easy loading and unloading to prevent back injuries and keep your business efficient. Instead of climbing up or on your knees to get stuff out of your truck bed, we feature slide-out truck beds that come to you. At Jordan Camper, we carry lots of step-up bars, easier to get into higher vehicles, and rear door steps for vans. Family-owned and operated for 5 generations, Jordan Camper is Utah's longest-operated truck top and accessory shop. We have a great showroom. Come into 7000 South State in Midvale and check us out. JordanCamper.com.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by UCCU. Learn how to save more this summer at UCCU.com. Here's McKenna Rodriguez.
The crash on southbound I-15 just before 3300 South is causing some slowdowns. We also have another crash on northbound I-15 at 146 South, but it is moved out of traffic. Make your summer plans more rewarding with double points on gas and groceries using your rewards visa from Cyprus Credit Union. Learn more at cypruscu.com. McKenna Rodriguez in the KSL Traffic Center.
The heat is back. We're looking at highs in the upper 90s today. Tomorrow, we could be back up to triple digits. This weekend, though, storms are going to return. There's a chance we will see thunderstorms as soon as Friday afternoon. Right now, though, it's 90 degrees and fair in downtown Salt Lake City. I'm Cameron Elliott from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at KSLNewsRadio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
Well, this is something you may not have expected, but Neutrogena, the skincare and beauty company, is facing a lot of flack right now related to the recent death of actress Hayden Panettiere.
So the complaints right now online, they're not exactly related to her death, but the news of her recent passing reignited a discussion about postpartum depression. And since we just talked about postpartum depression and postpartum psychosis yesterday, I wanted to see if we could talk about it again today.
Yeah, so tell us why postpartum depression and Neutrogena have a relationship to this woman.
Yeah, so it's so interesting. So she just died on the 16th. It was this weekend, Sunday. And Neutrogena tried, information surfaced. She said this in her memoir that came out earlier this year, and then in May interviews. Neutrogena tried to terminate her long-term partnership because she spoke publicly about her postpartum depression. And not only that, it gets worse for Neutrogena, in my opinion. She said that the brand Neutrogena called it, she was violating a, quote, morals clause.
Morals clause.
And that was the reason for terminating their partnership. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, she was a spokesperson for the agency. She had beautiful skin, obviously. She was the cutest kid in the world. I only remember her from one movie, Remember the Titans.
Yeah.
And she was the daughter of the coach, the assistant coach, and she won over everybody's heart in that movie. I had no idea what happened to her after that movie, but she apparently became a very successful actress.
She kept acting. Look, there's a broader discussion to be had here about postpartum mental health, and it was really a struggle for her. And I personally think we should be more open about struggles with mental health. We've talked on our show from multiple different angles, whether it's teenagers, whether it's moms, whether we've had people on our show talking about men's mental health, right? And how important that is and how much we don't talk about that. But to think that you could have a contract terminated because a company says you have violated their morals clause by saying that you had postpartum depression.
Admitting that you had a condition such as postpartum depression, which has nothing to do with skincare or anything else. I'm sure it didn't affect her anything. But and especially if you say it's a morals clause, like how is a mental health issue a morals issue? I mean,
well, that's the problem.
I mean, if she gets convicted of a felony for shoplifting or something, maybe so, or she speaks out in in some way that's offensive, maybe, but just
well, it's kind of wild. So Neutrogena, which is owned by a company called Kenvue, they did not respond to comment requests. I can't imagine why.
Yeah, it's too bad. She was a spokesperson for the company. Hayden Panettiere, like I say, she was in a lot of other things besides Remember the Titans. I just remember that. But she wrote her 2026 memoir just very recently. And she said that Neutrogena wanted to fire her after she discussed that. And she discussed that on Live with Kelly and Michael in 2015.
Yeah.
After that, they said, based on your morals clause in your contract, you're done. Ouch.
Crazy. To me, that's crazy. So following her death over the weekend, social media users used Reddit to upvote. That's the way you bring things more to the forefront, I guess, of the platform, for calling for a boycott of Neutrogena. And it's like, okay, I can understand that. In fact, one beauty content creator, said Neutrogena hates women. That, like, when you say, if you can't admit that you have postpartum mental health struggles, we've got a problem.
How interesting is it and coincidental that we're having this conversation at the same time there is a major homicide trial going on right now involving a woman, I think her last name is Clancy, who was accused of killing her 3 children. And
Lindsay.
her defense is that she suffered from postpartum psychosis, I think was the word, which is significantly more serious than postpartum depression, but part of that same sort of spectrum, I guess. And in fact, we're learning more and more that that's a recognized condition, that it happens to more women than you think, and that the consequences involve things such as hallucinations and people seeing and hearing things that aren't taking place. I mean, they're so serious that it's caused people. She's not the first person to do something so serious.
Right. So one of the things with Neutrogena and Panettiere is they had a 10-year relationship, and as soon as she went public in 2015, as you mentioned, they came to her and said, we think we're going to fire you. They didn't that year, but they never renewed her contract. And she said she knew that was going to be the end of it. And it broke her heart. Nobody reached out to her, she said, and said, it's been great working with you for 10 years. Or like it was just the cold shoulder. I just think, gosh, that's not cool.
Yeah. I mean, now you look at the effects that condition may have had on her. We don't know much about her death, or don't even
Not yet.
speculate.
Except that they don't think it's traumatic.
Right. She did suffer from postpartum depression, and it haunted her for years, it sounds like.
Yeah. So look, she had like women do sometimes. She had a really traumatic birth with her daughter. She almost died. She had to have 7 blood transfusions and 2 additional surgeries to save her from hemorrhaging. And then she ended up with postpartum depression, which to me is not that surprising. But when she talked about it, that was a reason to say, okay, well, we're going to fire you.
I think her daughter's like 10 or 11 years old now, living with her
dad.
Yeah, the dad, who is a professional boxer from Russia or Ukraine or something, Vladimir Klitschko. I think he was actually the world champion for a while. And I don't follow these people's careers, but what an interesting
He's Ukrainian. Yeah, Ukrainian boxer. And yeah, they have an 11-year-old, and she lives in Europe with her dad. But he expressed right when she died just his profound sadness and the tragic death. So we don't do a ton of celebrity following on our show, although I heard Taylor Swift got a haircut, so maybe we should talk about that. But look, this idea that somebody could lose their job for saying, "Look, I'm really struggling with postpartum depression," that part I just don't. I really am struggling to wrap my head around it, to be honest.
And in this day and age, we don't think of that as a weakness in any way or a morals issue or something.
Well,
like
apparently
that. We
some
just
do.
Don't. I mean, that's why it's so surprising. I mean, 50 years ago, I don't know, maybe people would have looked at it differently. But today, in today's age, you wouldn't even have that conversation. So,
is that true?
Well, you would think not. It would be. You'd think better of it, I guess.
Well. Anyway, I just thought that was a story worth talking about when we had just talked about Lindsay Clancy and just the broader postpartum mood disorders.
What are the chances of that? I mean, we're talking literally about the trial on Tuesday, or Monday or Tuesday, and then this woman dies, Hayden Panettiere. I'm watching these blips about her, and all of a sudden I see a clip of Remember the Titans, and I'm like, who is this? And then I realize it's the same person. She developed into this incredible actress, beautiful,
but struggled.
But she didn't look. You wouldn't have made the connection when I saw her. I thought that doesn't look like the same person.
Yeah, she struggled, and I'm seeing some stuff on social media today saying that one of the people in her last movie that came out, I think earlier this year, or at least the filming was like she was really lonely, and I could tell she was struggling. So, anyway, we'll find out more about that. But Neutrogena, naughty.
Yeah, come on, guys. Step it up. And people recognizing postpartum depression, postpartum blues, postpartum psychosis, all those things. I mean,
we need to do a better job.
It's a real thing. It's a real thing, and it affects more women than you might expect.
Yeah, that's right. All right, we've come to the end of our show, which is amazing. And so, coming up on Inside Sources.
Go Street Racer! Go Street Racer!
I think we Utahns consider ourselves to be the new speed racers because new data shows we think speeding is normal. Yeah. We'll zip into this next story right after the break.
Summer is wrapping up, and so is Soda's 4 free weeks offer. This is the last time for the summer. Grab it before summer is over. No injections, no awful side effects, just a natural way to lose weight. This is Greg Skordas, and I lost weight through Soda, and it was a great program for me. Call 866-800-SODA and mention KSL News Radio, and you'll get 4 free weeks free right now. You can learn how to keep your weight off through their Soda nutritionists who help you get to the root causes of your challenges. You learn lifelong habits that last long after the program is done. No lifelong medications, no injections. Weight loss medications can cost a lot, and for many people, the bill does not end. Soda is different. Degreed nutritionists help you get to the root causes of your challenges, guide you one-on-one, teach you lifelong habits so you can lose the weight without signing up for a lifelong bill. I personally lost over 30 pounds in just 7 weeks through Soda's plan. It was a great program for me, and it is for you. Soda is, say it with me, state of the art.
More than 50 million Americans suffer from a form of mental illness.
And Utah isn't immune, with nearly 1 in 3 people dealing with anxiety, depression, or another form of mental illness.
But there's hope. We can all take action to keep ourselves and our loved ones safe.
That's why KSL has teamed with the Huntsman Mental Health Foundation to bring you hope and help you thrive.
It's Healthy Mind Matters.
Find out more at healthymindmatters.com.
Do you know how to tell if a clogged drain is something to worry about or not? What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and I understand it's annoying and inconvenient, but sometimes a clogged drain can be a sign there's a more serious issue with your sewer main line. If the drains in the lowest level of your home aren't draining, or you flush a toilet and it comes up somewhere else like a shower or a floor drain, I'm urging you to look at this as more than just an annoyance. The last thing I want you to experience is a sewer backup. If you're a homeowner experiencing any of these issues, the first step would be to snake the line to see if it's just a blockage, which one of our drain techs can do for only $29. Yep, you heard that right. Any Hour Services will snake any drain line with normal access for only $29. Sinks, showers, tubs, toilets, floor drains, laundry drains, even that sewer main line that connects to the city. We'll snake any line for just $29. For help with your drain issues, call Any Hour Services at 801-443-7700. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Sleep Number's new collections are designed to adapt to the changing nature of your life and your sleep needs. Whether it's the personalized comfort of the Comfort Mode mattress, the targeted pressure relief of the Comfort Next mattress, or the Climate Collection that actively cools or warms to help you fall asleep and stay asleep.
And now, all beds are on sale during our biggest sale of the year. Save 25% on the new Comfort Next Luxe, plus free delivery on any mattress. Ends Monday, only at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
This is Derek Miller speaking on business. Snow Pine Lodge is a historic gem in Alta, Utah, originally built in the 1800s, now transformed into a luxurious retreat with a rich heritage. Whether you're a local or a visitor, it offers an unforgettable mountain experience. General Manager Eric Hagman joins us with more.
At Snow Pine Lodge, we love being part of the Salt Lake community and creating a staycation destination that feels worlds away while still being just a short drive from home. Summer is one of our favorite times of year at Alta. Locals come up to escape the heat, hike through the wildflowers, take in the patio views, and enjoy our 20% off Utah Locals rate for overnight stays. We're also currently booking last-minute corporate retreats, weddings, special events, and holiday parties. And fall is an especially beautiful time to visit Alta with the colorful foliage, cool mountain air, and hiking trails right outside the lodge. While you're here, make sure to enjoy our delicious brunch menu at Swen's, lunch and drinks at the Gulch Pub, a dinner date night, or unwind with a spa day pass or treatment at Stillwell Spa. Whether you're coming up for a weekend getaway or just the afternoon, we'd love to welcome you to Snow Pine Lodge.
Snow Pine Lodge continues to share the best of Alta. Learn more at snowpine.com and book your stay today. I'm Derek Miller with the Salt Lake Chamber, speaking on business.
The new Inside Sources.
You remember when the speed limit was 55?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's an old song
was
by
to save
Sammy
gas,
Hagar.
right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, look, okay, it's time for an honest chat. You don't have to text us, but who speeds here in Utah? Do you speed?
I do, unfortunately, and I probably shouldn't. But if you do, and you're in Utah, you're among friends. I know it's bad, and you should obey the law. Let me just say that. But so new research shows that the majority of Utahns actually think speeding is okay.
I know. And actually, when I saw the headline, I was like, well, yeah, duh. Have you ever been on I-15 in the morning? Here's my excuse. I just go the speed of traffic. I try not to be the fastest, and I also try not to be the slowest.
And that's one of the excuses.
See?
Why
There you
people
go.
speed is because, hey, that's everybody else's. But that's not a good reason. But it is a reason that a lot of people cite. And a lot of people cite other reasons, which is they're just in a hurry to get somewhere. They just want to get from point A to point B.
Yeah. So it's I just thought when I saw the headline that most drivers in Utah think speeding is normal, I agree. So I have to tell you, so I have been, as I've gotten older and older, I've gotten better and better at staying pretty close to the speed limit, maybe a little over. But my grandmother, when she would drive, my grandfather liked to do most of the driving hour-wise. But when my grandma took over, she had what she called a lead foot. And they would joke that maybe grandpa drove for 6 hours, she drove for 3. In other words, the same distance.
They got the same distance, yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
My dad, bless his soul, I love him, but he always drove like 3 miles under the speed limit. And he would drive in the middle lane, and he had a Crown Victoria, so he took up 3 lanes, and and you'd just be in there just hiding your head because all the motorists are driving around you. I'm not going to say it. Wonder if he was more of a threat and more of a danger for going under the speed limit than he was for other people going over.
Yes, and I have a funny story about that same grandfather. They did move out here to Utah, and my grandpa ended up passing away out here. He got pulled over and ticketed by Utah Highway Patrol for driving under the speed limit in the left lane. I'm sorry, everybody who was out there at that time. It's been more than a decade.
Yeah,
It's been almost 20 years.
Happen.
But it's like he was doing it on purpose. He was like, I'm going to make them drive the speed limit.
So speeding or not, there are certain times when you absolutely have to slow down. One is if there's traffic on the side of the road.
Yeah.
Two, if there's an officer in front of you running radar. That's usually what I think of. And if there's a police officer at the side of the road, if you see lights, just slow down and give them space.
Yeah.
And, I'm a bicyclist. People don't like bicyclists. Motorists don't for whatever reason. Man, when I see a bicyclist on the road, I give them all the berth I can, and I won't pass them if the shoulder's too narrow and there's oncoming traffic. And I know it makes the cars behind me mad, but I'm so sensitive to that. Being a cyclist and having so many of my friends hit by cars, so many of my friends hit by cars that I do that. And I also ride a motorcycle, which are fun, but sometimes you get up around the 80 miles an hour that the traffic goes in places, and that's pretty fast on a motorcycle sometimes.
Yeah. I will add one more, and that is to stop for school buses and around schools, right, to slow down. So that's we're mostly talking about the highway. But we didn't really mention it with our back to school thing, but Iron County School District was one of the first. If you remember, they started a week ago. The very first day a child was hit in a crosswalk.
Yeah.
First day.
How completely predictable that
All right.
was.
So I do have some fun facts. We already know that it is National Potato Day. It is also World Photography Day and World Humanitarian Day. So my daughter is a photographer. She's also a teacher, but maybe I should ask her to take pictures of potatoes today. So I don't know. Look, it was on this day in 1851 that Charles Hires was born. So he was a pharmacist who developed a drink that we call root beer.
Yeah, Hires.
Hires root beer.
There you go. It's
Utah thanks you, Charles.
Yeah. And the root beer float. So came after that.
This one I thought was a fun fact. 1920, which was literally one day after the 19th Amendment was ratified that allowed women to vote, Donna Allen was born. Donna Allen founded the Women's Institute for Freedom of the Press in 1972 to publicize and research women's issues which she thought were ignored by mainstream media. She was very opinionated on that issue.
Yeah. Well, here's an interesting one. On this day in 1946, Bill Clinton was born, which means he turned 80 today, which means he's younger than Donald Trump. And
he's younger.
He was president 20 years ago.
Yeah.
He was the 42nd president of the United States. I think he was elected, and it doesn't matter. But anyway, he born in 46. It's interesting. He turned 80 today. In this day on 1953, a CIA. Oh, this is crazy. The CIA assisted coup overthrew the government in Iran and reinstated the Shah. Got rid of the Ayatollah and put the Shah in.
Maybe we should have stayed out.
We didn't do anybody any favors during that because, 30 years later, when I was in college, it was about the 70s when they decided to overthrow the Shah and the Ayatollahs came back in. So, yeah, that didn't work out too well. The last American combat brigade left Iraq on this day in 2010. And on this day in 2020, what's the date? August 19th. Apple became the first U.S. company to be valued at $2 trillion, and that was just 2 years after they were the first company to reach $1 trillion. So they grew in a hurry. $2 trillion company. Who knows what they're worth now? Probably significantly more than that. Well, hey, Hal, I want to talk about one other thing before we go, and that is because it's back to school, a lot of us are thinking about our own back to school thing, and I want to give a shout out to my teachers. I know I haven't been in school for a long time. The other day I was on this show, and I heard from one of my high school teachers. Now, I can't imagine how old she must be. But Claudia Wright was her name, and that's not necessarily important. But it got me thinking about some of my school teachers that I had, including her. And she was amazing. I mean, we loved her. I love her today. I'd love to see her today. But so many of the teachers that I had growing up here in Utah, and I went to the Granite District, I'm just giving a shout out to that, that I learned so much from, that I benefited from. And I remember my sixth grade teacher, Westbrook. She was the coolest person in the world. I remember my band teacher in high school, Wait. He was a person that I just revered. I think he's probably just one of those teachers that you think about a lot. Claudia Wright. I mean, I'm not going to call names because I'll forget some, but I want to give a shout out to our teachers who are going back to school today. Some of you maybe for your first day for the year, some maybe for your first day ever. Stick with it. Remember what you do for young people, and remember what you do for people like me that maybe 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years from now, that person will be talking about you too, because we are blessed to have good teachers in this state, and we're blessed that some of us are blessed to have had a number of good teachers in our lifetime. And I would say this about teachers, that by and large, the huge majority of them take that job for the right reasons, and it's certainly not to get rich. It's because they like what they do. And you can tell the teachers, the young ones especially, that they're just doing that because when they were students, they were looking at their teachers going, man, I'd like to do that someday. And I'll be honest, one of the favorite things I've ever done is teach. Like I said, I did it at the Police Academy for years. I taught at the University Law School for years. I taught at the Salt Lake Community College in the paralegal program for years. I miss that. I'd love to teach again, maybe when I get to the point where I can retire or sort of dial things back. I would like to do that again. I don't know that people want to hear from 70-year-old teachers anymore, but it's fun. And I want to just give a shout out to the teachers because it's back to school day. And back to school, I want to talk about one other thing and then I'll let it go. We talked about speeding and driving. The kids are on the road, folks. The kids are walking around. They're seeing their friends. They're running across the street. They're excited to see things. You've got to keep an eye out for the kids right now. They're back to school, and you've been driving this summer, blowing through these school zones like they're nothing because they're not really lights of flashing. Well, today they are. So take it down to 20. And by the way, speeding in a school zone is really bad. It's much worse than speeding in a non-school zone. The fines are worse, the penalties worse, and you'll find that it doesn't do you any favors with your insurance company either. So watch the kids, watch the schools, pay attention to what's going on. And I wanted to give a shout out finally, and I'm running out of time here, to Alpine School District. They joined us today and talked about what's happening there. That district is splitting up into 3 districts next year. It's got to be just gut-wrenching for some of those teachers and administrators who put their heart and soul into it. They did a great job. I applause to Alpine School District, and let's hope that next year when the 3 districts are going together, that those will work